Recording now. All
I
right.
know.
And I don't know. Do I just start the theme? I guess. Let's just go.
Yeah, let's just start the theme,
Just
Jordan.
go. Let's start the show.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Secret Hideout. I'm Josh Roman. I'm here with none other than Jordan Acosta, aka Sexy Stash.
Damn.
And
I really thought I was going to get through that this time. You're just gonna forget.
never Jordan. I think I missed a couple episodes, and so I'm disappointed in myself.
Oh.
But yeah, welcome everybody. We have a great show. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening this past week. A lot of news, a lot of rumors. And before we get started, big shout out to J7. Thanks for the great intro for our song. Go check them out on Spotify, SoundCloud, and all the other platforms at Jupiter 7. Maybe we'll have something come across,
Yeah,
but
I'll
not
totally work on
guaranteed.
that. The editing.
Not guaranteed. Maybe the description. We'll see. But Jordan, it's been another week. We just finished a episode of Mandalorian 4, episode 4, and now we're in episode maybe 15 in our show.
Are
I
we
don't
supposed to
know.
be keeping track or something?
We probably should be. We're very, but you know what? This is how, uh, you know, uh, not true villains work. This is how. Uh, what are we called again?
The secret hideout. What-
Well, no. We know what the podcast is, but what kind of villains are we? We're not thugs,
I don't know. Hoodlums? Is that the metaphor we're trying to go for? I'm not. We should
yeah, I
probably have
don't know.
discussed this before we start recording if we wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. We'll have to work on this, guys.
But
Ridiculous, yeah.
you and Simon did something fun yesterday, and it's gonna introduce us into our next segment, our first segment of the day. Go ahead, Jordan, take it away.
Right. So yeah, last night, very late, due to scheduling, me and Simon got around to seeing John Wick 4. Well, I say got around to seeing. It's literally like the first day we could get tickets. Yeah, we're going to talk about today on our first Is This Cinema segment, where we decide whether or not a movie is cinema. I feel like that's just a more interesting conversation, really, because I mean, if you're not familiar with this, we've probably heard of Martin Scorsese sort of decrying the prevalence of superhero movies, saying that they're not cinema. You can read online about it. It's super interesting, kind of, also kind of not. But honestly, I think on some level, I sort of get where he's coming from. We're like, you know what? Like, you can sit there and sort of like measure movies on some scale, 5 stars or 10 out of 10 or whatever. But I do feel like some movies, man, they work. Some movies don't, right? And it's often kind of mysterious as to why. So today, yeah, we're going to talk about John Wick, and hopefully Simon will join us. He said he is on his way. And he gets here in time to actually discuss this movie with me. Otherwise, this is going to be me describing the movie to Josh, and he's just going to nod along because he hasn't
But
seen it
yeah,
yet. Like that.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Um,
Wow.
but
I could carry it pretty well, I think, Jordan.
all right. You've seen the other
And
three, right? You are familiar with Mr. Wick and his exploits.
yeah,
Yeah. All right.
1 through 3 I've watched, and I want to say 2 is my favorite.
Okay. Would you say you're a fan of like the series as a whole?
Oh yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, because I am absolutely a fan. I am mildly obsessed with these movies, and part of the reason is because like they're kind of like pure uncut movie, right? Like, and I've been thinking about how to explain this since I saw this movie last night, and I was like, all right, what am I gonna say? Like, what do I actually have to say beyond it has cool action? Because like it has cool action, guys. Uh, so A plus, I guess. I don't know what else I would say. And I think the thing about, so I have kind of this theory that every medium has its own native genre, right? Like a genre that not only like doesn't really exist in other mediums, but can't, and really grew out of the medium itself, right? So a good example of this would be like superheroes in comic books. I mean, Josh, you're a fan of superheroes, right? You probably read some comic books, right?
Right.
A few at least. And but have you ever read like a superhero novel? You know, like a 500-page written word superhero novel, or probably not.
Kingdom Come. Read Kingdom Come. I don't know if that counts.
Well,
The
that's a
novel.
graph. You mean a graphic novel? But I mean
No, no,
literally.
there's a novel.
There's
There's
a
a novel.
novelization of Kingdom
Yeah,
Come.
just a written book
Oh
of
my God.
Kingdom Come.
Okay, so you just totally fucked up my entire example. Thanks for that.
I mean, no, I have not.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. I've never heard of it. But it's like superhero. Okay, superheroes are very popular in comic books and to an extent also in animation and in film. But they don't work as well in mediums that aren't like intensely visual, right? Like they feel most at home in comic books, at least in my opinion, right? Even though I like movies as well and I like animation, there's just something about a 2-page splash of like Superman punching a guy that's always gonna like just capture the essence of the character better, I think, than any animated show ever will or any live action movie ever will. And I think action movies are like the native, like they are like native to film, right? Like you can't make a radio drama of an act of like a John Wick movie, right? It wouldn't be very, it'd just be a lot of yelling and grunting and sounds of things smashing, right? And so the interesting thing about John Wick is like it just leverages every aspect of the medium to the absolute maximum, right? Like it's not even, and even other action movies often lean really hard on like VFX and stuff to look good. But John Wick is like among those class of films. Another example would be like Mission Impossible movies, right? Where like you watch Tom Cruise literally just like hang from a jet as it takes off into the sky, right? Or fall off a building. Like there's something about like that is something that can only really work on film, right? And I think John Wick does that maybe better than any other franchise. And so like to me, the thing that makes this movie work, John Wick 4, and the thing that to me makes it cinema, right, is it is just 3 hours of uncut like cinematography, action set pieces, some pretty dope ass music, and like insane. So here's the hard part I'm having right now. I don't know how to describe what happens in this movie without ruining it for anybody who hasn't seen it. Right? Like the action, like this is the thing. It's not about plot twists. It's just the inventiveness of the action in this movie is on a level that I don't know that I mean, John Wick's always been good at this, but man, they really gave it their all here. And like, it's got the biggest budget of them all, and it doesn't waste a single penny. There is not a single shot in this movie that doesn't look kind of amazing on some level. Like people just standing around in these incredible, beautiful locations from like Osaka to Paris. Sometimes they're just sitting around and talking, and it's just like but what you're looking at is like the coolest nightclub you've ever seen in your life, or like this big historic old building, right, full of like all these like incredible antique furniture. Like it's just an amazing movie to look at. It really leans hard on like these big wide angle shots. I don't think they've done this a lot in the series before, but wide angle lenses where you can really see a lot of the scene right around the characters, and it just feels expansive, right? Like just huge. Everything feels huge in this movie. And it never lets up. For like 3 hours, I never got bored. I never felt like it slowed down. And I think I was just telling you, Josh, right? The best way I can think to describe it is like you're watching a 3-act story. Each act is about an hour, and each act builds up to its own massive set piece. And each one is distinct, like in terms of like the colors on the screen and the music being used and the whole aesthetic of it. So it really feels almost like you've watched 3 little movies back to back to back, right? Yeah, it's great. I don't know. It might be the best of the entire series, which is kind of bananas considering like these kinds of like low to mid budget action series, like they are never good, right? They make one good movie, it makes some money, and so the studio decides they got to make more, so they just keep making them. So what happened to Taken, right? They made one good movie, and then they just kept going, and they got worse and worse and worse and worse. With John Wick, it just like somehow they've managed to end go out on a high note, right? Like in terms of the story and the action and the performances. And dude, Donnie Yen. So Josh, you know who Donnie Yen is, right? He plays a major role in this movie. He's like an old friend of John Wick's. And oh, hey, Simon's here. Simon has joined us just as I was wrapping up too. So perfect timing. He's done a lot of martial arts stuff, but I think something that he's exceptional at that not even a lot of other martial artists are good at is he's just really good at physical performance. And the character he plays in this movie, he's like a blind assassin, and he squeezes every last drop of like visual interest he can out of this role. Like, and I think I was also telling you earlier, it feels sometimes like you're watching a live action anime in that it uses like the conventions of anime to tell its story visually. And Donnie Yen is like, he's the main reason I think that, because he's doing stuff that you see badass characters do in anime all the time. Like there's this scene where like this insane fight is breaking out all around him. He's sitting in a corner eating a bowl of ramen slowly. I guess waiting for the most dramatic moment to enter. and then he does, and it's amazing. So yeah, no, this is cinema. This is the best kind of cinema. I will probably see it again, maybe in theaters, just so I can see it on a big screen. Because like John Wick is, I've never really thought of as like, oh, it's a big screen movie that you gotta see in theaters, right? The way that you would like Avatar or something like that, right? But dude, this one, it kind of is. Like it's just so massive in its scale and its scope and the things it's showing you. So yeah, this is cinema to me. And Simon, are you set up yet? You got your
I'm almost.
I mean, we can hear you and see you, so
Oh, can you?
yes. I just yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Let me send you the link to the shared screen
Oh,
tab.
do you got stuff to share?
I have plenty of stuff to
All
share.
right. Well, how about while you're doing that, Josh? Any reactions to anything I just said?
Yeah, no, I got some questions actually. So you mentioned a couple of big movies that hit in 2023. We have Ant-Man,
Mm-hmm.
Creed, um, Shazam.
Shazam!
So far, out of all the big pop culture movies, where does this stand amongst them? Where does this rank amongst them?
So I've seen Shazam 2, which I think, what did I say, like 3 out of 5 stars? Like, it's good. It's fine. Um, did I say, I think I might have said it wasn't cinema. Like, it's not bad, but it's also just like, well, like you'll go with the family, you'll have fun. And it's actually kind of disappointing, I think, to me at least, that it didn't do better. Cause like, this is exactly the kind of movie that, yeah, families should go see. Um, and, but you know, like I said, John Wick is cinema. Like, man, how do I put this? So I was saying earlier about how like it leverages the visual language of cinema in a way that something like Shazam doesn't. And like even though it is just an action movie, like it doesn't have like a complicated plot. Performances aren't like super deep or anything. But I would still argue that it's this someone on the internet is going to make fun of me for this, but I would argue that these are genuinely really sophisticated movies, right? In terms just visually, like in terms of how they
Yeah.
use the grammar of film, like they're just there's a bunch of people making these movies and they know their shit. They know how to use a camera, they know how to edit, they know how to shoot action. The level of quality that went into like the set design and stuff is second to none. This is a movie built out of other movies, you know, like in the sense that like you can see the influence even of going all the way back to like silent film stars doing like stunts in the early days where it was literally just a guy in front of a camera and like they'd cross their fingers and hope that the building doesn't fall on them, right? Or that they don't fall off and get run over by the actual steam engine that they're riding on, right? Like it's got that same energy, and it feels, like I said, it feels visually and cinematically sophisticated the same way that like modern poetry feels like linguistically sophisticated, right? Even though narratively the plot, the characters are not that deep, that's not the point. these movies are about cinematic language and the beauty of it, right? So the same way that a lot of modern poetry doesn't have like any real hidden meaning, it's just about the beauty of language. If you read someone like T.S. Eliot, right, these movies are also about what you're seeing, and they how do I say it? They speak the language of movies so eloquently that they make other movies look sloppy and second rate, right? Like I can't imagine. There's so many action movies that are just like, look, they shot very basically, they're not that interesting, right? Visually, they're kind of dull to look at, right? And really, like, it's just an exercise to see some guys run around with guns, right? Dude, these movies, like the colors, man, the
colors, Duke, the colors.
My God. it's incredible. I think there's. So Simon, I've been trying to explain how good this movie is without spoiling all the action scenes. Yeah. But
were you able to?
I don't know, Josh. How do you feel about us spoiling some stuff? I
think you did. You have not spoiled it, not one bit yet.
Okay. Yeah. There's
good job.
The way it's shot. Yeah. Every scene has some visual interest that is just like kind of eye popping, right? And then is used as part of the scene to really sell the vibe of it. It's just the only other, what other movies can I think of? Maybe the Batman. Like it had a similar like gritty but also kind of like neon lit vibe, right? Like it's got that neo noir vibe but like dialed up to 11. I want to live in this movie. That's the only I think, like these places. I wish when you went to Japan it looked like Osaka looks in this movie. I wish when you went to Paris it looked like Paris looks in this movie, right? I wish the real world looked like this movie, because it just looks like such a dope ass place to live aside from the murder, right?
Yeah. The highly systematized murder system.
Yeah, Simon, now that you're set up, I'm going to hook up your browser, but go ahead and start talking if you want.
Just did. It was the best. It was so freaking tight. It was the oodles and oodles and the koodles and koodles. It's yeah. So are we recording right now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So then I really should have rehearsed what I said.
Simon, you just started talking and you didn't even think to.
No. I just went with it, But no, it's a phenomenal movie. I think Jordan nailed it. I think there's a moment where it's like really over the top in the beginning, and I was just like, wow, it's just a lot to just soak in. And I was just I really had to saturate and just I had to settle down and ask myself, what did I just watch right now? And but then as you continue on with the movie, you realize the choreography and the length of the choreography of these fight scenes is absolutely stellar and incredible. Like the physicality, you mentioned the physicality of Donnie Yen, very true, but the physicality of Keanu Reeves, I can imagine like how many times they had to do it. And I was just like, or just really prepare months in advance of every little detail. Cause like, it looks chaotic, but purposeful. They can't just do this by accident. Like the chaos is measured. The chaos is, it looks like a legitimate fight scene. And I think that's what I loved about John Wick. It's not overly choreographed like a Kung Fu movie. It's like it's ugly. It's dirty. You go to the ground and you just like have to struggle for your life. That's what it looks like. That's what it conveys. And over again, every fight scene has that quality and has that look, and it just gets better and better and better and better. It just escalates to just this craziness that is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So
yeah,
yep.
No, the physicality. I like that you mentioned the physicality, because there's like a lot of the close-up fighting here. There's like a lot of I guess I'd call it grappling.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but it's like full body grappling, like with legs, like
jiu-jitsu.
They're just like they're rolling around, like you can see them wrestling to fight over a gun or something, and it's just like the amount of time it must have taken to choreograph out what they're doing. It's just so complicated what they're doing. Yeah, it's out of control.
Yeah, and like I I would imagine I would love to see the behind the scenes for this movie and how much Keanu Reeves put his 2 cents in regards to the grappling, because we know that he does jujitsu, right? He knows how to move around on the ground.
Oh, we know
like that.
Simon. We know.
Okay,
You
I'll
talk to
just
him.
say
You hang out.
in context, he knows how to do. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu,
Yeah, no,
you
you're
know,
right.
person,
You're
right?
absolutely
And
right.
so,
He does.
yeah, and yeah, and like you can tell and another thing is there's a female lead in this, and they really
You don't like that, Simon?
No, I loved it. I loved it.
You said it specifically like you didn't like it.
This is
We
the
talked
reason
about
why.
this before offline.
No,
So I'm
no, no, no.
surprised that you changed your perspective.
So I
But
feel
that's
that
good. I'm glad.
No, I feel that
Aggressive.
you interrupted me before I wanted to say what I wanted to say. So here's what I'm going to say now. I feel that often, like weight by weight, often in movies, it just is unrealistic to see a female
Women?
fighting a
Right.
large muscular guy, right? But we see this female lead. They used her body, and they used it effectively. It's
Right.
like
there
tell,
is a scene where it's worth noting she's definitely like she's younger, she's on the skinnier side,
Yep.
and they have her fight like this dude who's like he looks like he's 6'5", weighs like 300 pounds.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's kind of the point of the scene is like
Yeah.
she's got to kill this guy, and it's just a lot of work. It's like a lot of work to
Yeah.
kill this guy.
And she struggled, but
Yeah.
her style is, and you'll notice this in the entire fight scene. She's low to the ground. She's like literally crawling and going back and forth and just on the ground. They can't swoop down and reach her. And she's
Is that
just
where you like her, Simon, on the ground, low to the ground?
no. I just think she knew
Crawling.
I think the film showcases she knew the body type of this person and she knew how to use it. She knew how to use it effectively. And I just think that in this entire film, these killers know how to kill effectively. I'm just like, and it's just bananas. It's absolutely bananas. It's just like, yeah, like he uses cars to kill people. He uses Tokyo drifting to kill people. He does. It's absolutely bonkers, but it's very cool.
Yeah, it's really wide ranging. And another thing that's really interesting about it too that I wasn't expecting, although I guess I should have, because they've hinted at this in other movies, right, where they make explicit references to other action movies or silent films. This movie goes out of its way to pay homage to like a lot of different action and adventure film genres. So like there's a scene in here. I mean, it must have been a reference to Lawrence of Arabia, the way it was shot.
Okay. Yeah.
Simon, you know what scene I'm talking about, yeah.
Yep.
And then there's a scene in here that is clearly, I mean, it's it's explicitly invoking the language of like Westerns, right? Simon, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like yeah, like every scene looks like it's diving into like the history behind like this type of action, and then like kind of like pulls up some of the conventions of it and really just embraces it, right? It's not trying to like, in a weird way, it feels like it's not trying to be creative. It's just trying to be true to its influences, right? And emulate them to the best degree that it can. And in doing so, it elevates them and like I said, it's a level of eloquence, right? Like it elevates pop culture to high art in a weird way. Especially because often they're doing this stuff, this very pulpy action is happening in these incredibly like high class places. I mean, there's a lot of classical music in this movie. Like there's like house music, and then there's like hip hop, and then there's classical music, and then occasionally there's a dude just wailing on a guitar, right? Like that's this movie in a nutshell. It's all of that just rolled up into a big ball, right? Yeah, no, it's really something. It's a spectacle. Yeah. This movie is
a spectacle to behold.
To behold.
Yeah, yeah.
So we give it like a 3 out of 10 or something. Sounds like
a solid 3.5.
Yeah, I agree.
No, don't be silly. It's
just wait till it comes on Netflix, guys.
No, watch it. Yeah. Watch it.
Seriously. So, Josh, to get back to your earlier question, like where does this rank? This is the best thing I've seen so far this year. In movie. Right. I haven't seen a lot yet, so we'll see. Dungeons and Dragons is coming out next week. That's not going to surpass this.
Honestly, so I think what I heard about John Wick 4 is nothing but great things. So everything you're saying,
Right.
I already read about. They say it's the best movie thus far, and reviews of Dungeons and Dragons I've heard the same thing, but we've heard the same for Ant-Man. Where they did the pre-show, like, oh, Ant-Man's amazing, it's great,
Yeah.
it's new, it's refreshing, and then nope, wasn't. So
The only reason, here's the thing, this movie by all rights should make $1 billion, and the only reason it can't is because it's R-rated, right? Like that's the only thing limiting its potential. I wouldn't surprise me though if it gets it into like 400, 500 million range, right? Because it is that good. I mean, like I said, I'm thinking of seeing it again, and I don't usually see movies twice, but it's the kind of movie that you can watch multiple times because it's not like, again, you're not watching it for the plot. You're watching it for the spectacle. And dude, there's so much happening here. I feel like I need to see it again just so I can actually fully absorb everything that they put on the screen. I know there's stuff I missed, right? The Hotline Miami scene, again, I don't want to ruin it for anyone. Just say the Hotline Miami scene, if you played the game, you know what I'm talking about, is bananas. Like it's something you would not expect to see in a big budget movie. Everything about it, the way it's filmed, the way it's choreographed, there's a lot of long takes in cinema that you can argue like which ones are the best, right? Goodfellas has got a good one. But man, this might be my favorite. It's crazy it's the balls they had, right? The brass it took to film a movie this way, to put stuff like that in a movie that costs like $100 million is, it's admirable. This is an achievement in my opinion, like an achievement in cinema. As I know it sounds crazy, it's just an action movie, but goddamn. And I think this does solidify. I already thought this, but I think it removes all doubt. Like Keanu Reeves he's the greatest action star of all time. I don't think anyone else even comes close to this.
Shut your mouth right now.
He is.
Tom Cruise is still alive. He's out there and he wants a piece of the pie from John Wick right now.
Tom Cruise is really good at running very intensely. Tom Cruise is really good at producing and leading great action adventure movies, but there's a difference between, awesome set pieces and stuff and like great action in the sense of like just like stunt work, right? And people just beating the shit out of each other. There's a lot of that in this movie. Like by the time a fight scene's over, everyone looks exhausted, right? And no, I'm sorry, but yeah, Keanu Reeves is it across 4 decades now. He's managed to like somehow find the zeitgeist in every single one.
I'm ready to argue this, but I think we need to do a battle of
definitely
actors.
Yeah, let's do it.
We need to put Keanu Reeves' work compared to Tom Cruise's, and I think we're gonna have to.
We can add in a few more, yeah. But yeah, Keanu Reeves will win though, so I'm confident in that.
You can't see Jordan. First of all, I respect your opinion on movies. That's why you have this segment. Is this cinema?
It's not my opinion. It's my conclusion based on the evidence. You really underestimate how much thought I put into this, Josh. I don't
That's
think
your
you
new
tagline.
It's not my opinion. This is my conclusion. That's your tagline for Is This Cinema?
Jordan wrote a paper on nyctoanthropology. He shared a folder of his paper on nyctoanthropology. And you know what that is? That's Greek for Batman.
I didn't write a paper. I just sketched some thoughts. Some thoughts.
Yeah. Your thoughts is basically like, yeah, right. It's a thesis, and there's some work here. I'm just saying, Josh. I think this is a great thing to talk about. So I'm just gonna bring the popcorn out and just.
That'll be our next episode.
See what happened.
A comprehensive review of the action career of Keanu Reeves and how he stacks up in the history of great action leads.
Yeah. The Matrix is one series he had, but then you could guarantee out of 2 of the 3 movies he didn't do any action scene whatsoever. It was all CGI. The first one he could 100% did a lot of those stunts. In 2 and 3 he didn't do anything.
Right. I'll give you. All right. For now, I'll just say this, right? So Point Break, Speed, The Matrix, John Wick.
Who I can't wait.
Right?
I can't wait.
I defy you or anyone else on the internet to name a single action star who has had a career who's consistently made good action movies decade after decade for that long. There are plenty
Days
of great
of
action
Thunder,
stars.
Top
and they have
Gun,
they have their
Mission
moment.
Impossible.
They have their moment. But man, there's just something Reeves just keeps coming back. And like he finds a way. He just keeps coming back, you know.
Dude, Tom Cruise is right there, bro. This is about to be the next celebrity death match. We're bringing back MTV's celebrity death match.
All right.
But Jordan, Simon, thank you guys for your sacrifice and going out and watching these movies.
It wasn't
come
a
back
sacrifice.
and give us
It was a pleasure.
not your opinion, but your conclusion. And guys out there, I would take Jordan's opinion and conclusion strongly. Go and watch this. He is a savant when it comes to movie criticism, and just what's that one series that you watch? Or not series? It's a collection. The
Criterion Collection.
Criterion Collection. There you go.
A lot of people.
That's how dedicated he is to cinema.
Dude, a lot of people watch those. That is not a weird. Like a lot of people have. Simon, you've got to have at least one Criterion.
I have a bootleg version.
Oh my god.
So Jordan, you subscribed to their platform. We have not.
Their streaming.
I don't
service.
think Simon has either.
Well, it's a good service.
I did not know about it, and I'm thrilled that they have it. I'm thrilled that
Jordan,
they have
this
it.
is not a knock on you. This is boosting your back. I'm letting everyone know how dedicated, and how seriously you are to the film industry, and so take his word for it.
I appreciate the vote of confidence. I do want to be honest though. I signed up for that service primarily to watch Godzilla movies. So just
that's fine. Hey, that's okay.
You still got it.
You got it. That's right.
You and 100 other people got it. Their Criterion is literally surviving off of you and 100 people right now.
There's dozens of us. Yeah.
He gets annual thank you cards. It's like, Dear Jordan Acosta. It's personalized. Dear Jordan Acosta. We at the Criterion Collection are just unbelievably grateful.
Thank you for the 10% of our revenue that you provide.
We couldn't do it. We couldn't have done it without you.
Literally.
Well, we do ask if you have friends or family or loved ones that might want to, be interested. That 10% could actually increase to a quarter of our entire revenue.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone subscribe to the Criterion Collection. It's not an ad, but it is a great streaming service, and everyone should give them money. Watch some new wave French cinema, guys. It won't kill you. I promise.
It'll bore you. It won't kill you though, for sure. Anyways. So next segment, guys, Jive Talk, aka Word on the Street. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. Simon's favorite A-list actor, Ron Perlman, is reportedly joining the DCU, and the character he'll be playing is Frakenstein in James Gunn's new animated series, Creature Commandos. I think he looks like Frankenstein right off the bat, so it's not a bad look.
You had to go right for that, didn't you?
Dude, look at him. He looks like Frankenstein. He looks like a beast, dude. He doesn't look like a normal man.
I mean, he was literally the Beast in a TV adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. So,
and he was Hellboy.
# nailed it. Yeah.
He's like the A actor for creatures. For a creature or some kind of.
That's true. I've never actually seen that show. I should probably. I feel like I don't know if it's even any good. It's people just bring it up all the time when they talk about Ron Perlman. So
that's how you got to start, dude. I think my mom used to watch it.
Oh yeah,
she used to love it.
It's like one of my mom's favorite shows. She talks about it all the time. Maybe that's why I don't want to watch it. Like I don't know.
Right.
It's good. She also likes all those CBS procedural shows. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna.
Oh my gosh, my mom and my sister love those procedural shows. Yep.
Yeah. What is up with that?
NCI fans out there, or people who create NCI, whatever.
NCIS.
Yeah, NCIS. Fill in the blank. You guys are doing something right. So you got my family hooked. So nice.
That would be a really efficient solution to the problem, Simon. They can just make one show. They call it NCIS. Fill in the blank. And then you can just like every episode just do whatever fill in the blank will make sense that week.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
NCIS Park Rangers, NCS
NCIS
Stadium Cop.
NCIS Turlock, California.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I'm excited about this. I mean, obviously so, because he is an A-lister in my book, in my eyes. I think he has
Seriously, you got to bring that back up
every time. Anyways, I think he has the voice. He has the voice acting voice. You know what I'm saying? He's got it. He has that.
Right.
He has that. His voice is just great. And if it is true that the rumor is that they want to transition from animated to live action,
It's not a rumor. That's
okay.
true.
Well, there you go.
Well,
I mean,
it's Gunn. Yeah, Gunn has said he wants the same actor to portray the character across all media.
Right.
We don't know yet, though, if they plan to do that with the Creature Commandos. So, like, if they do live action, somehow they'd want him to be in the role, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they haven't said they're going to do that yet. So I don't want to like count my chickens before they hatch, because like if you start telling me that we're going to have DC movies starring Ron Perlman, I mean I don't want to let myself down, right? Like I don't want to bet on that yet. Let's wait and see.
I'm putting some. I'm dropping money here. I'm
Stop
hoping for
teasing
it.
Simon now, Jordan. Okay, let's stop teasing Simon now. All right.
Please don't. Yeah, don't.
No one's gonna go run to rush Ron Perlman's Frankenstein.
God,
right?
No, but
wow.
if he's guest starring in like Batman: The Brave and the
Right.
Bold,
Right.
Batman teams up with
Exactly.
Frankenstein, played by Ron Perlman. It's
a plus to have him in there. He adds to the cast.
Yeah.
He's just not going to be the focal point. You know what I mean?
The more I think
his
about it, the
career
more I'm selling
doing that.
myself on this is being great news.
I actually beg to differ. I think he's gonna be the focal point. I think he's gonna be one of the key characters in Creature Commandos.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I think so. I
But
totally.
he's not going to be the star, obviously.
Who will be the star then?
We don't know who the cast is. I don't know.
To be fair.
Oh, I see.
No, hold on though. That's a good question. Like for an animated TV show, Ron Perlman is a big get, right? Like he might not be like an A-list Hollywood franchise lead.
Oh no.
But like
no.
for an animated show, I mean that's huge. So yeah, I don't know who they're gonna get that's bigger than Ron Perlman to be in an animated TV show, right? So you might have a point there. They might be, and now that you say it, I'm partially wondering if James Gunn is thinking like, hey, like I liked him in Hellboy, but that franchise didn't really take off. What if I just did my Hellboy with my BPRD just with the Creature Commandos?
Right?
And instead of Hellboy, it'll just be Frankenstein, but we'll just cast Ron Perlman. It'll be animated, so he doesn't have to dress up in like a costume or anything. I mean, Ron Perlman's like 60, so he probably shouldn't be out there. Yeah. Man, see, I didn't care about this, and now I'm kind of excited. So I guess that's.
This is gonna be amazing, you guys. This is phenomenal. I'm so excited about this. We're gonna talk about it later. I was waiting for MCU to do this, but I mean, like DCU's gonna jump the gun on it. I'm happy for it. Yeah. Jay Gunny, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this.
What specifically did you want Marvel to do?
A horrorverse. Like they're gonna bring it up, but like you know what I'm saying? Right. Like with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they introduced Ghost Rider, and that looked amazing for a show. And I was like, man, I would love to see more of this guy. I would love to see Werewolf by Night was phenomenal. Yeah, anyways,
I mean Ron Perlman was in Blade, by the way, right? So like it would have been pretty neat if he came back in the Blade movie in some role, just as a fun Easter egg. But also he would be, I think, a good pick for like that genre, right?
Right. Right. So
I guess we'll see. I mean, it's not like they couldn't, but I guess it depends,
So
right.
I'm all for this. This makes.
I mean, I'm not against it. I like it. I think.
You just want us to shut up. It's not that exciting.
No. I just want to. It's not a great topic to talk about unless we're making fun of Simon's A-lister.
Why? No. How dare you?
That's why.
Okay,
it's more entertaining
so just to be clear, this topic was introduced by Josh, not because he wants to talk about it, but because they thought it'd be funny to make fun of Simon's reaction to it.
Because I mean, let's go. If you guys go back to 2 episodes ago, Simon wanted to vote Ron Perlman as A-lister with Adrian Brody, and he was adamant about it.
See, like,
and
we go. Here we go. Okay.
That's just ridiculous.
Next time, all right. Fine, that's fine. I'll concede to the ridiculousness of this. I concede. Okay, there's the level
All
of
right, guys.
Adrian Bodie,
The next
and
thing
then
is we're talking about Marvel Studios. Victoria Alonso has reportedly departed the studio. So, rumor is she's been fired, but we haven't really heard anything about that. And from what I understand, I'm sorry, I'll try to keep a straight face.
you're the one that's gonna fail. I will prevail over this. Ron Perlman, you're the Mac Daddy. You're the A-list A++. You're the man.
The best
and I
is yet
can't
to
wait
come,
to
huh?
hear your voice playing Frankenstein in Creature Commandos, DCU. Jay Gunny, get it done quick.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great. So it's good. Yeah, so Miss Victoria Alonso, she was in charge of the VFX, and as we've seen the last 2 years in Phase 4, like we've seen some really horrible things in MCU, like really horrible things. Everything coming from Doctor Strange's Third Eye, which looks like a 1980s claymation eye.
He asked a high schooler to do it on a Fiverr. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. There was a high schooler in some Scandinavian country who was in the special STEM program who did learn computer VFX. It's like, hey, I can do it for $5. I can do it.
Wow, the accent too. He had to throw an accent. It's 2023, Simon. Okay, racism is not allowed on the internet. It's called bullying, dude.
Honestly, I don't know if
First,
that was a
sexism,
Scandinavian
you throw
accent.
sexism out there, and you talk about women being leads, and now you want to talk about Scandinavian men trying to make a living and how they're less than American VFX artists. Ridiculous. We're not going to have this, Simon. Not on this podcast. Last warning.
So you're saying that I'm saying that Scandinavian VFX artists are of low caliber than United States ones?
That's what you said.
I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
No.
When you
The very
mocked
fact
him
that
with that sorry accent that doesn't sound like Scandinavian people whatsoever.
I concede that it doesn't sound like it.
That was ridiculous. That was not
So
needed.
Victoria Alonso was fired, as far as we know. And so I think the interesting about this is like it's not like she joined just a few years ago, right? Like she's
Right.
been with them from day one on
Yep.
Iron Man.
17, I believe. 17 years.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, it's like, yeah, there's a lot we don't know, right? But like, what led to the decline in quality amongst like, is this something that's been a long time coming? It's just like, and it comes from just the way she runs things, and maybe as they scaled up and try to do more shows, like it's just reached a breaking point, or did something change recently? But like, yeah, it's crazy because like the rumors, these are all rumors, right? But like, you know, trolling around online, reading Deadline, various Reddit posts, people, you know, talking about people they know in the industry. And it's like, there does seem the impression that she was a bit of a slave driver, you know, like really cracking the whip on these VFX houses to like get stuff done fast and cheap. And you got to the point where some VFX places might not even want to work with Disney anymore. And
Yikes.
now with the increased volume they were trying to do, it was just too much. And now that they're apparently Disney Plus is not doing so hot, and you know revenue is down kind of across the board, someone there decided, yeah, now's the time, right? Like as long as they were making a ton of money, she could basically keep doing what she was doing and it was fine. No one was going to complain about it. But it's probably a good change. I mean, Marvel clearly needs a bit of a change in direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the things that I heard about the way like these big studios get VFX studios in the first place is they get their script, they get their call sheet and everything that they need done, what they're doing. They throw it out there to like 30 to 40 vendors, be like, this is what we want to do. Throw us your bids. And Marvel just squeezes every single cent they could save out of these people. And these people, you know, and there's so much work that needs to be done on these things. And eventually, you know, what these visual studios will do is bid the lowest to where they're barely making a money or breaking even, and then contract work out to another third party to help them make up some time, for these crazy deadlines that they have. And so with that, I think they Marvel and Disney has left a bad taste in a lot of VFX artists. And I think as of right now, this is again all speculation, rumors, but we can see that something's going on with the VFX. Like either they're really penny pinching right now, or they're not getting the cream of the crop anymore on these VFX artists,
Or
and they're just
overstretched VFX artists,
Yeah.
right?
right. Right. Yeah, that's another speculation, right? Because they have like what 6 shows on Disney Plus, we're including Marvel, Star Wars, and then Disney stuff as well. And then we got movies that were coming out. So yeah, the thing is, why if Marvel or Disney, I guess it'd be Marvel. If Marvel wants a show, they're putting the best foot forward. Why don't they just say they're getting rid of her? Why is there this hush hush on her exit? It just draws more
So
eyes onto the situation
so
that needs to be.
the rumor that I've heard, again, this is a rumor. It comes from like anonymous sources. I think it was a Vanity Fair article. Um, that this was an action taken by primarily led by like HR people at Disney, with the support from some executives, and Feige was not involved, and maybe he was against it, but given where Marvel is at right now, he doesn't really have the clout to prevent it from happening.
Right.
Which implies that yeah, maybe there has been, you know, interpersonal issues with her and others within Marvel, right? Or just complaints about her style, her management style, or the way she runs things. We don't know. Again, it's just rumors, right? But like this was not something that like they planned or wanted to happen. It just like apparently there's some pressure that just forced this right to happen when
Right.
it did. And they're looking to cut costs. So, and look, if you've ever been in management, you know that hey, when you got to tighten your belt, usually what happens is managers are like, well, here's the employees that have been problematic maybe for a while, and if we got to lay people off, then we'll start with them, right? Even if it's disruptive in some ways, because obviously firing like the head of your VFX is they're going to have to replace her with one or maybe multiple people, right? That's not going to be easy. That's a big job. I'm sure it's something they'd rather not have to deal with right now, but it sounds like someone within Marvel decided it was easier to do this than to try to
Yeah.
keep her on, you know?
Right.
It could have to do with the process. So again, this is something I only recently learned, but so I mean, well, we all kind of know like Marvel has this when they have this like assembly line production process, right? And they will start production or at least pre-production on like big action set pieces even before they've like got a director signed, right? Because they're like, oh, we want to like it's a movie about this character and we want to do X, Y, Z, right? And we've seen that lead to weird results with movies like Black Panther. I think that was one where they did this, and like the movie, like some parts of it are really high quality, and then some of the action scenes were just like I don't want to say they were pretty bad, right? Like some of the
Yeah.
VFX was really bad, like the digital rhinos they're riding around on, the
Right.
the mirror match at the end between Black Panther and Killmonger, like that just looked so weird and rubbery, right? Um, and so like it sounds like what's happening though is they'll kick off production on these things and they'll do all this work on the VFX, and then the director comes in and they actually start to like cut the movie together, and they might cut entire sequences or pieces from those that they've already spent tons of money making, right? So it's not
Making,
very
yeah.
efficient, it's very expensive, and all of the VFX artists involved. I mean, imagine because like even like a 10-second shot in one of these movies that could be like one VFX person's job for like 8 months. Is that one shot?
Right.
So imagine you
Right.
spend all
All the
this
layering,
time,
rendering.
yeah, and then it gets
Yeah.
cut, and now you can't even put it in your own sizzle reel because it's no longer like publicly available from Marvel. Like that's not great,
Yeah.
right? So like that's obviously
Yeah.
not a great process, and probably they do need to return to like a more traditional VFX process where they actually like storyboard out the movie first, right before they start
Right.
doing the VFX. Which it sounds like this is it. Okay, so not to like turn this into like the James Gunn fan cast or anything, but like, well, James Gunn is publicly announced like, yeah, we're not going to begin production on something until we have a script, like a finished script, right? Like that's the kind of thing you need to do to prevent this kind of waste from happening. Is like now
How
you've got
novel.
this, I know it's crazy. It's crazy, right? This
It's just
old-fashioned ideas.
unheard of.
So,
What do you think we're doing? Making movies here? Gosh.
yeah, we're supposed to be making content, guys. We got
Yeah.
This is a content strategy. Movies, it's too complicated. You know. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Prior to this last phase, there really weren't memes or jokes or like criticism of the VFX.
Right.
You know, like until you see now, we got a Thor joke of that floating head of the kid. We got Ant-Man the Wasp.
MODOK,
dude,
Oh
is
my
his
God.
face
his
just
face
looks
like stretched
yeah,
and squished into it.
right. That looks just weird. Black Widow.
Yeah.
Those VFX just look like it didn't fit. You know, like when they're falling from the sky, that was like the worst sequence of just falling in the sky that I've ever seen in my life. Out of all the Marvel movies, it just looked like there was no wind. They're just standing. They're able to talk while they're flying down. You know what I mean? Like I could barely breathe in my car when I'm driving, and I stick my head out. How are they just like nonchalantly just conversating with each other?
Have you ever seen? I mean, I'm sure you have Corridor Digital, their YouTube channel. They have like a series of VFX artists react where they'll watch.
Oh yeah.
They have one where they talk about that scene, and like it's something that I didn't notice consciously, but there's a scene where like what's her sister? There's like she's like sacrificed herself. There's like an explosion, and she gets like blown off the ship, and she's falling, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when I saw the movie, I'm like, this is the worst looking thing I've ever seen. Like that shot just really, it was like imprinted in my mind. I'm like, this looks wrong, right? Watching Corridor Digital, they point out like, oh, the problem is that explosion that blows her off, that's actually, it's a mini explosion. Like they scaled it down to make it like fit that thing she was standing on. But if you look at it, you can tell that this is actually a massive fireball. So it just looks like a little mini explosion, like a GIF that they pasted in front of her, right? And like most people aren't going to catch that detail when they're watching it, but like your brain can tell like that explosion's like it's wrong, it's the wrong size, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that whole movie is just full of that stuff where just even if you don't know exactly, even if you can't say exactly why, your brain can tell you like this doesn't look right. Everything about this is wrong. Yeah.
So I mean, her last year of her career was just nothing but memes and jokes and criticisms, you know, and instead of being focused on the movie, it's about the look of it, right? And so I think I don't want to say that I'm glad they left, but I think Marvel's moving in the right direction to kind of fix the issues that they had. So she's gonna land on her feet. She's already made millions. She has a great resume from executive producing. She's been around Marvel Studios since the beginning of Iron Man and all the way forward. So she'll land on her feet somewhere.
Well, we'll see. Actually, I think that will be the test of which rumors would be true. You know what I'm saying? If she's difficult to work with, then no one's gonna want to hire her.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, though. Like, I don't think it matters if that is true, right? If she is difficult to work with, like, I don't think it matters because like how many people in Hollywood are like that, and yet they still just based on clout, experience, resume, connections, they can make something happen, even if it's not like at the scale that they're used to. They can make like how many. I mean, how many directors have had like careers where they just like maybe they weren't getting hits in Hollywood, but they just went and founded their own studio in like a low cost of living area. Okay, just started making their own, self-financing their own movies.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan has done that. Like all of his last like 5 movies all self-financed, right? He just does them himself, and so he doesn't have anyone he has to answer to. He just writes his own scripts and films his own movies. You know, so
yeah,
and they're just great.
One of our fallbacks is to always be like, my bad season was under the reign of Chapek. He tied my hands. He cut, my legs from underneath me by giving me this.
He overstretched me. Yeah.
Or overstretched and under budget. Like I couldn't spend money.
Right.
They wanted to put money somewhere else. So because prior to that, she really doesn't have any dings on her resume.
That's a good point. That's a good
So,
point.
I mean, when
Like
you
her-
when you ask for 2 movies a year and 4 to 6 TV shows a year, I mean, that is a lot. That is a
Right.
lot of stuff. So
Right. So she'll be okay, and I'm sure she has a solid bank account. All these years, and I'm not really gonna lose sleep over it. But I understand.
She might have invested in SVB though. She might have put all her money in SVB.
Yeah, it's a Bitcoin.
Or Bitcoin, or like whatever NFT that's out there that's hot and selling,
Like the
right?
4 worst investments in the past
That's her
decade.
portfolio.
She did.
85% on FTX right now.
Horrible investments, horrible last year of career. Oh my, this would be really bad. Yeah, then.
Just to be clear, we're not saying she actually did that.
No,
joking.
No, not
I
at
feel
all.
I feel compelled to say that because like it seems like so many celebrities like got on the
Right.
crypto NFT train. So like some people maybe
Right.
actually did do that and lost all their money. But
What if she invested in like Jake Paul's Bitcoin scheme?
right,
It was some animal thing.
isn't
some
he
animal
getting?
zoo.
Wasn't he
Bitcoin.
getting sued for fraud or something? Him and
Yeah. Yep.
yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a guy named Coffeezilla that was the spearhead of
Yeah.
exposing him, and
Yeah.
basically because of Coffeezilla, like, he had an apology moment where it's just like, hey, I effed up, I'm sorry, I'll make this right,
Right.
What's your Jake Paul
Coffee's
impression?
because
Simon?
of what that,
Yeah.
because of that video, Coffeezilla was asked to be on Joe Rogan, and that was
Twice.
just hilarious to me.
twice.
That became that big of an issue.
Wow.
Him calling out.
But Coffeezilla also, if I may, I'm sorry for interrupting. Coffeezilla also was the one that kind of exposed the fact that Sam Bankman-Fried was basically not the genius that he is, and
Right. No, you're right.
he admittedly was lying. He knew what he was doing, and he was lying
Right.
through the teeth. Yeah, Coffeezilla
You're
pointed that out too. So
So I
Right, no,
haven't.
you're
So
right.
I'm sorry. I've never heard of Coffeezilla. Just for some context, by the way, even though I work in software development, around 2020 or so, I intentionally avoid following any news about crypto because I don't want to hear it anymore. It was just all. It's so pervasive. I got sick of hearing about it, so I avoid it. But is that literally like? Is that just his username on some website? What is Coffeezilla?
yeah,
Coffeezilla,
Coffeezilla is literally his YouTube. It's his YouTube channel.
Could you
And-
imagine becoming famous and you whatever username you happen to choose for some website like 5 years ago, that's the name. That's
Yep.
the name now that you're known by. That's what's going on Wikipedia. That's what people are seeing in the news.
He's basically Scooby Doo and the Mystery Machine. Like it's like
Yeah.
all the people that he thwarted is just like curses you, Coffeezilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Yeah,
it's,
he's
it's
like
great.
an investigator, dude.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. So it's hilarious.
He's finding the modern day equivalent of the old rich guy who wants to like keep the land because there's oil
Yeah.
rights on it or
Yeah.
something. But
That's
now it's like some young rich guy who's like defrauding people with
Yep.
with
It's an
funny money.
influencer. Yeah. It's an influencer
Influencer.
or an adult film star that's like, hey, I think this NFT will make me money.
Oh,
and
God.
then
And then at the end, he catches them in like a lasso or something, and like pulls the
Pulls the
monster
mask off.
and it's Jake Paul or whatever.
yeah, that's you explained it to the T explicitly. That's exactly what he did. So nicely done.
The society we live in, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
indeed.
It's kind of beautiful in a way. How absurd it can become.
Yeah, you don't need to live in John Wick's world. We got our own.
So,
Anyways,
let's move right along. How are we looking on time, guys? You guys okay?
Yeah, we're an hour in.
fantastic.
Yeah, just want to make sure. Next, and this right here, honestly, I didn't even know. I really don't know what's going on. This is news to me. I don't know how to take it and absorb it. So I'm gonna leave that to Jordan and Simon. But Star Wars lost a writer for one of its secret movies. Damon Lindelof. Lindelof. And I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's done. I'm sure he's had a decent career, and that's why he was written here, or he's been one of the writers for Star Wars. But to me, it's not big news because it's a secret Star Wars
It was one of the many Star Wars movies that like they're like, oh yeah, we got this or that person working on a Star Wars movie, but they didn't say anything about it or what it was.
Right.
And now it doesn't matter because it's never going to happen. And that's
Right.
it's like the fourth one now where they said, you know what, never mind. We're just not going to do it now.
Yeah, Kevin Feige was one of those.
Yeah.
Our guy Taika Waititi.
Waititi.
Yeah.
I think his is still happening, maybe.
No, they canceled his. It was we did this last week.
Yeah, okay.
Is it
We talked about this
canceled
last
or is it like in the back burner?
No, they're done. They're not doing it no
okay.
more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then there was the Benioff and Weiss,
Oh,
the Game of Thrones guys, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, they left,
back
and
out.
I think Colin Trevorrow left. Yeah, so there was a lot of folks that basically.
Well, I mean, originally their plan was to make to follow the Marvel model, right? And make like 2 movies a year. And I think what they discovered is nobody actually wants 2 Star Wars movies a year. And so they just don't have enough Star Wars movies anymore to go around. So, or
Yeah.
TV
So-
shows, since they're probably
Right.
cutting. Because, I mean, Andor hasn't been doing well in terms of viewership, at least, even though it's an amazing, piece of art that everyone should watch and appreciate.
And they won awards too. They won
Yeah,
a bunch of awards.
yeah. And even The Mandalorian apparently is not doing as hot as previous seasons. So clearly, yeah, viewership is down, and they need to tighten the belt. So, Damon Lindelof. So it's sorry, Josh, you're just like this news. Like I don't care about it, but we're gonna talk about it because like these guys want to do it. So I guess we're gonna talk about it. And I hope our viewership, our listenership, our viewership, whoever is out there, whoever is desperate enough for content on YouTube to listen to us, probably already know who Damon Lindelof is. He worked on Lost, and he's worked with basically he's like J.J. Abrams' boy, right? Like they've worked on like a bunch of stuff together.
Can we say the poor man's version? Is that fair enough to say?
I wouldn't say that because like I think the way it typically worked is J.J. Abrams would produce and direct, Lindelof would write. Like that was kind of what they did, like Star Trek and Lost and stuff.
So he's the Robin to J.J. Abrams' Batman.
If you need that image for this to be interesting to you, then you
For the
can
people. I
imagine-
think it's for the people.
You can imagine them as Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
You can imagine Damon Lindelof in little hot pants.
Did you
in a
just
cape.
hot pants?
Dude, come on. Have you seen? That's what Robin wears. He wears little shorts.
Neon green,
Yeah,
hot
neon
pants,
green hot pants.
scorching.
Yeah, his little elf shoes. Yeah, he's working on a lot of stuff. I'm not really a fan of his, to be honest. I'm not like some of his stuff is okay, but for the most part, I don't think I'm not a fan of the work of either him or J.J. Abrams. Apologies to either of them if somehow they ever hear this. However, he did produce and write almost every episode of the Watchmen TV series, which might be the best superhero TV series ever made. One of the best shows I've ever seen. Just like an incredible incredible 9 episodes of just flawless storytelling, at least in my opinion. So like, it's a 50-50 for me. I don't feel any real grief over this. I also I grew up with Star Wars as a thing that came out every 2 years if you were lucky, right? Like for most of my life, it was like I was just rewatching the same 3 movies on VHS over and over, and I was fine with it, right? So like I don't need a new Star Wars movie every goddamn year. And if they want to pare it back and say, look, we're going to do some TV shows and we're going to do like a movie every year, every other year, and they're going to do a new trilogy that's kind of more of the classic Star Wars stuff and not try to make like an origin story movie for every single freaking character who's ever been in the background of that one shot or something. I'm fine with that. Also, Lindelof himself said like, as much as he loves Star Wars, he felt like he just couldn't figure out how to write it well, which, I admire that. Like, if he's like, you know what, it's not working, I'm stepping out. Like, okay, like, good. Like, he knows his limits. A lot of people don't know that, and they persist, and we end up with bad movies. So, probably for the best to cut your losses and move on. And honestly, all these projects failing, it just creates more room for them to bring Rian Johnson back so he can make his Star Wars trilogy. And that's really what matters the most here, I think.
Freaking Rian Johnson. He ruined Star Wars. He ruined Star Wars.
It's funny to me that he's like, oh yeah, I'd still like to do it. I'm too busy with my own stuff. And they're like, yeah, we'd love to have him back, but he's too busy with his own stuff. Like there's one director they clearly would want to have back, but he's like, nah, but I'm making like my own little mystery movies. Like, and I just, I'm hanging out with like Daniel Craig, and we're hanging out on a Mediterranean island. Like, I'm busy. Like, and all these other directors are just coming and going on like it's a revolving door. And that is just hilarious to me, that the one person that they would absolutely have back to make Star Wars movies is too busy to make Star Wars movies. How amazing must your life be when you can say no to that? When you can be like, do you want to make Star Wars? Like, yeah, but I'm busy.
I think the reality is that he doesn't want to have to go through that drama of the fans killing him again. Online.
I don't think he cares, honestly.
That's a lie. Or else he would have done other Star Wars.
Have you seen his that Twitter response he gave once? Like someone was like accusing him of not knowing the lore of Star Wars, and he gave like, it's a picture of him like he's just drinking whiskey in his apartment, and he like step by step he walks over to like his bookcase and pulls out this like book about the lore of the Jedi that I've never even heard of, but he bought like 20 years ago. And he's like, and then he opens it up to like, this one page, and this one paragraph, it explains force projection. And he's like, that's where I got it from.
Well, there you go.
You fucking casuals. So, anyway,
well,
look, let's not get into this. We got to move on. Simon, yeah, this is going to get ugly.
So this doesn't mean that he still has, so he left the work that he's done so far, right? So there's still an enormous amount of work that he's done. And as we can see from the headline of this article, they're still, it looks like they're still proceeding with it. He's just probably not going to be able to clean it up or explain it. You know what I'm saying? And as a matter of fact, you brought it up, Josh, and I'll bring it up right now, that they actually are tasking the guy, Peaky Blinders creator, to write it or to finish it off. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like they're still going to do it. They have the director at the helm. It's just, he was at a point where it's like, okay, I just don't think, just like Jordan said, I don't think I can do it justice anymore. So he just left. You know what I'm saying? So it still looks like it's still going to happen, but not with him.
So yeah, we'll move on because that's all I got to say about that. But I think to Jordan's point, we witnessed that Disney can't handle a property like Star Wars and having a continuous content showing and it being up to standard, at the par. And that sucked. That hurt a lot, because I think if there were successful shows, they wouldn't have to pull back as much. But because they're reliant on a very few amount of people to deliver, a good script, a good story, we're scaling back a lot. And so disappointed in Marvel as well. So, but I understand it. I understand that they want to have great content, great people working on this project, and they need these specific eyes to oversee it. And you can't have these specific eyes, these gatekeepers, watching all this stuff, especially if there's like a floodgate of things coming in. Because what was it, 3 years ago when the Star Wars president announced like 7 shows coming out? It was like Ahsoka, the one with the Sith Lords, the underground one, for what it was called.
We're going to do something called the Acolyte.
The Acolyte. There you go. Sorry, the Acolyte. Rogue One. Not Rogue One. Was it? Were the Starfighter ones?
Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squad. There you go. Rogue Squadron. So, and then now we're not getting any of them. We're just getting Ahsoka. Right? So, anywho, Star Wars, fix your problem. Simon,
do your job. Yes.
Was any of us to fact check this? Because I looked around and I didn't see anything other than this guy's post. But rumors going out there, Disney's opening up something in Texas.
That's hey man, I have a reliable source And I spoke to this said reliable source, and this source said, "Nope, I did not hear anything as well." So, but here's the
Who
thing
is this
that's
reliable source, Simon?
I'm not gonna detail my sources. I'm not gonna convey my sources. So, but but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think what's reliable, and correct me if I'm wrong, we researched it before, that Disney actually bought property or land in Texas. Is that true?
I mean, it's a rumor.
Yes.
Oh, is it a
Or
rumor?
is
Okay.
it-
Well,
It's a rumor. It's a
it's,
rumor.
it's a rumor. It's a rumor. But you know what? We can just unsubstantiate. I don't know if that's a word. Yeah. But we could just go on with this rumor and just talk about and comment on what Disney needs to do with the parks, because they really do need to expand. They need to diversify, and they really should start thinking about other places and place their footprint there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like in the story of like the story of Disney versus Universal, right? The fact that that is a story is already a problem, because it didn't used to be. Disney just used to be Disney, and they were the theme park company. Like, they did it better than anybody else, right? And yeah, it'd be crazy for them not to open up in other metros outside of California and Florida, especially with the recent events in Florida, right? So yeah, I am inclined, if these rumors are bubbling up, right, I'm inclined to believe that yes, they are either they have acquired land or they're trying to, right? Because if they don't, then they're just ceding that to Universal. We talked a little bit in previous episodes about this and about Las Vegas, right? And it's like they need to have a footprint there if they want to continue competing. Otherwise, Universal is just going to go out there and continue to make like better experiences, and people are going to start sending their money there. And the parks are really Disney's primary money machine, right? The thing that like just generates cash for them consistently year round. And if they can't maintain those, I think that really, I mean, that would be huge. That would be a historic shift. Like as long as Disneyland has been around, right? Those parks have continued to be successful all over the world. I can't imagine a world where that changed, right? That would just be wild to even think about. Like a world where like when people go to like a theme park, it's just, oh yeah, I'm going to Universal, right? Like nobody does that. Josh, I think you were saying like you used to take your whole family, you drive from the Bay Area all the way down to Southern California, like what, once a month you said? To go to Disneyland, yeah.
Yep.
Could you imagine doing that for Universal theme park?
No.
Right.
It would be like we're going to Disney and we have a day to go visit Universal.
Right.
You know, but I think pricing now
exactly.
and just the way Disney really scaled back a lot of their perks they used to give out. Like I think I would go to Universal now. There's more options there, you know, especially at the Harry Potter, and then you got the Super Mario World that's coming out, and my son's gonna watch. Me and my son are gonna watch Super Mario the movie, and then probably want to really go see this land.
Yep.
You know, and so
that's a good point. Like, how old is your son? He's like
6.
6. Okay. It's like he has no brand loyalty to like Star Wars yet.
No.
Right. He has no brand loyalty to anything Disney yet. Right.
No.
And if you go and see that movie and it's good and he loves it, that movie is going to be like, that's the thing that's going to be stuck in his brain now until he's like your
That's
age.
going to be Star Wars for him, like it was for me growing up. You know.
And Universal has that.
Yep. And they're going to expand it. They're going to make it bigger in Florida. It's going to be a larger Super Nintendo Land in Florida, and yeah, they're going to have, and it's going to be more affordable for families, and there's going to be more perks for families. Universal already admitted that. You know, traveling to Universal, like there was a story about a metro train from Orlando Airport to Disney World, and Disney World didn't want to do it. Like but Universal sees that opportunity and says, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah. We'll figure it out. And so they're going to have a train stop right in front of their amusement park. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, I don't know, man. It really looks like Disney is just relying on their laurels. It's like, no, we're Disney. We got the parks. People will go to the parks no matter what. And it's like, I don't know about that.
I think if Universal, is it Universal? Universal, right?
Yeah.
That's the name of it. For them to hit a home run would be like if you buy a season pass at any one of our parks, you go to all of them. That'd be amazing, right? Because then they're opening up the Vegas one. They're opening up the LA. It looks like Texas as well.
Yeah.
And Florida. I mean,
right. So even if your local Universal is not like the best one, you get a pass. You go there sometimes. Your kids have fun, and then once or twice a year, for no extra money, you can go to like the good one. You can go to Florida or whatever. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Smart.
And I mean, if it's like, if a season pass is like $800, I'd do it to go to all these parks. Why not? I mean, I'd do that because like just to go to 2 parks, right? That's literally in one. Right. You're paying $1,500.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it really that much right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe a couple $100 more. I think the last time me and Cindy paid for our passes, this was 3 years ago. It was $850 each.
Oh my god! Wait,
and
$850 for one person.
One person. So we got free parking. We got 25% off, concession sales, free photos, fast pass, and I think there was something else, but I might not remember. But all those perks in one, right? And we did the math, and if we visited 8 times, it paid off itself. And that's why we went every weekend or one weekend every month, and we paid it off by.
Did you do that though? Because like you really wanted to go 8 times, or was like, well, we've got it, so like now we gotta go. We gotta go 8 times. Like by the 5th time, you're like, oh man, I don't know. I feel like I'm Disneyed out, but like we already paid for this pass. Great question.
So we really wanted to travel the world, but we drove to certain places. My son just couldn't handle it. He was going nuts. So we were disappointed and sad, and like, our son can't sit still. He needs to have some kind of stimuli. So we were like, what if we get Disneyland passes? And we went the first year. The drive was rough, but we went to the park. He had a blast, and so we did it like 3 years.
Yeah, you're experiencing it through him.
Yeah,
you were willing to go every month, drive the 4 or 5 hours to go to Disneyland.
The only one suffering was me, right? Because I'm driving at 3 a.m. My wife and son were sleeping. They enjoyed themselves. I suffered.
You just want that on the record. You want everyone to know that you're the one who suffered.
Right. Oh, Simon got kicked off.
Dude, come on, man.
There
Simon, you're in Los Angeles where I am. How can your connection be so much worse than Josh's?
Yeah, remember he has net zero. That's his.
It's this public library connection, guys. It's really
using the city internet, city internet.
I'm so sorry about that. Yeah.
On the city Wi-Fi.
He has that antenna outside capturing.
But it's all good. What's up, guys? This is your boy Simon coming back at you. Internet wants to get me, but I'm back.
Wow.
Yeah, but
that's a new energy, Simon. I need to think about how I feel about that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
No, so let's get back to Texas. If Disney opens up in Texas, my thing is it's butt hot over there. It gets hot as hell.
It's a night
over there.
It's literally hell. It is literally hell. I visited Texas once. I was there for 3 weeks, and it was the worst experience of my entire life. It was hot. It was humid. They have giant bugs that will attack you. Like, they're aggressive.
Right.
I don't understand why anyone lives there. And now apparently the state is slowly, I don't know, falling apart. Like their energy grid doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
So like, but hey, there's a lot of people who still live there, and they're probably used to it. So maybe they're fine with it, right?
Yeah,
and like one thing to think about, and I read all these. If you go on these comments, like the first one you see right there, tell them to go away. Disney is welcome here. This is a red state, a very red state. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying these people, most of them cancel their Disney subscription because of what's playing on their platform.
Hold on.
And now they want to.
We don't know that. We don't know that. Most of there might be people. No, a lot of people who complain.
Read the comments. If Simon scrolls through the comments, they literally said, "I dropped my Disney Plus because those are just playing."
Yeah, but those are comments on the internet. That means literally nothing. Like,
It means a
my
lot.
guess is all those people still have their subscriptions so their kids can watch, I don't know, Frozen or whatever.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This is Texas, dude. They carry. They carry, and weed's not allowed.
It's a powder keg. A powder keg, I tell you.
So no chill is what you're saying. Texas is zero chill.
Yeah. They're amped
Well,
up all the time, man.
This is just a speculation from this guy, right? They could consider Vegas. They could consider, I don't know, but like honestly, they really need to consider thinking about expanding, and or do something at the parks where like I guarantee they're not going to lower prices. I no matter what Iger would say or would do, he's going to keep those prices. And what they need to do is provide the perks and incentives back and just say, hey, look, with this price now, we'll provide you A, B, and C again.
I wouldn't be mad at that because I understand prices got to go up.
Yep.
But don't take away some of the things that we paid for and now we're paying more for less. That's what pisses me off, right? And that's why we're not going again. It has nothing to do with politics. It's just it doesn't make sense for me to go and spend $400 a day and then spend another $200 just to ride certain rides. You know what I mean? That's dumb, dude. That really annoys me. Like, I'm getting upset right now thinking about it. My dad was there a month ago, and he wanted to ride the Resistance ride, and he had to pay an extra $50 to ride that ride. And he wanted to ride the Lightning McQueen ride. He had to pay another $25. So he had to pay $75 to ride two rides that he should be getting free for paying admission.
Wait, Lightning McQueen, that's from Cars, right?
Yeah.
Charge for that? For that, like,
dude, for a fast pass.
Pixar?
If not, you're waiting like a 4-hour line.
Oh my god.
I know. You're right. Very valid questions.
I'm pissed. I'm about to have a MAGA hat on soon too.
This is it. This is the breaking point.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. He gets red pill.
Josh is a single issue voter, and this is his issue.
This is his issue. Overpriced.
Yeah. I don't care what they're doing on their platform. You don't mess with my money.
Give me that free popcorn. Give it to me now.
Yeah, I don't mind paying for stuff, but like, don't take away what I know we had before. Like everything.
Sure.
Straight gut it. You know what I mean? And then I still have to make an appointment to go visit you guys.
That should be done soon. You're right. I'm just saying that'll probably lift soon. So, anyways,
Simon's trying to cool things off now because he lives near Disneyland.
Because his source, he doesn't want his source to be pissed off too.
Like let's not start anything. You don't want to burn down.
It's like whoa, hey, everybody. Let's walk the line here. Let's see both sides, okay?
I'm sure that this large corporation has some justification of why they're doing it. That's not just specifically profit.
It's like, hey, Josh, they got mouths to feed too, They have families, all right?
They're struggling on their seven-digit, pay cut as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay, let's calm down a little bit.
Do some breathing exercises, guys.
Recall.
We're gonna send Josh some weed because clearly he needs it.
Right. Let's talk about something that might bring me joy today. And so this kind of borders a rumor, but yet we know it's out there and it's from the own source. So you don't have to take my word for it, but this is my opinion. We found out Blockbuster had posted something back on their website, and for me that brought joy, right? Blockbuster is returning, or some form of Blockbuster. We are working on rewinding your movies. So what does that mean? I don't know, but if Blockbuster has a store or storefront or something coming up, that'd be exciting. But let's look at the date. What's today's date? Today's the 22nd, 23rd, and in 6 more days, what do we got? April Fools.
Oh.
So is this the biggest setup for an April Fool's joke?
Were you like checking your calendar? Like,
I was like, what's happening? What's going on?
It's Flag Day, Josh.
Is it Texas?
Yeah, April Fool's is coming around the corner, and is this just a giant hoax? Is this something they're setting up just to be like, "Psych, April Fools"?
So
What do you guys think of this?
I don't care about this because Blockbuster sucks. All right. So here's the thing: a lot of people have nostalgia for like Blockbuster because they were kids and they were young and they were dumb and they didn't know what was going on. But I worked at a Blockbuster, so I have zero nostalgia for Blockbuster. It was. They
owe you money still, right?
If you want to see the worst of people, if you want to see just how low people can go, working at a Blockbuster, that was the way to do it.
Yikes.
I mean, like okay. Let me put it this way. You know, I'm an Hispanic individual, but I live in Los Angeles. I grew up in Coima. I've never really had to face like, you know, real racism in my life. Like, if there's any place in the U.S. to be Hispanic, it's L.A., right? Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm basically white living in this city, right? But not when you're at Blockbuster, because the Karen, the angry young mother who doesn't think she have to pay the late fees. She's like, look, my car broke down. I have a reason for being late. It's like, lady, it's been like 2 weeks. Right? Supposed to bring these back like almost a month ago. And then she leaves and refuses to pay. And then before she leaves, turns around and announces loudly to the whole store, like, well, at least I'm not Mexican, so bye, right? And then yeah, that happens. She had her baby in her arm, and she told all of us Mexicans working at the store exactly what she thought.
Wow.
One of maybe the only time I've seen one of two times I've seen real honest to God racism like in front of my eyes. Like, so yeah, it's a good thing Blockbuster ended. I think it's for the best. There's just something about that environment that like, man, people would just like act like it was a library or something. Like they're entitled to take the movies, right? And they bring back like an Xbox game in the DVD case instead, and like, oh, sorry, and it's like, no, dude, like you can't keep doing this. And
Right.
one time, a dude walked in there. I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating at all. Just walked in the front door, walked straight to the ice cream case, opened it, stuck his head into the case, and started just eating the ice cream. Just thinking that if we couldn't see him eating the ice cream, we wouldn't know what he was doing. Like there was some other reason to have your head in the ice cream case. Like just bent over, and he was just like scarfing the stuff as fast as he could. And then as soon as someone asked, like, "Sir, do you need some help?" he just ran right out. Like,
wow.
That people are animals, man. Like, so anyway, I don't have any thoughts on this event. It just brings back a lot of trauma for me, and I just wish Blockbuster would die. This brand, it just needs to go away.
Well, you know, I didn't really have a whole lot of thoughts on this either, but you know what? I really appreciate you bringing it up, Josh, because I think Jordan needed to share this, and I think he needed to let.
I don't need to share this.
No, you did. You really did, because I think this is the beginning of healing.
I need
from
to put it
trauma.
behind me, but the internet won't let me. They just keep bringing this back. They just keep reminding me of Blockbuster.
And it's like it's a way to just struggle with knowing how to deal with it when the internet is constantly bombarding me with this idea. You know, it's good. It's good.
It's not good. It's not good.
You're gonna become a stronger person.
I remember like occasionally I'll be back in that area of the valley and I'll drive past that place, and it always brought me a little comfort to see the Boost mobile store that had replaced the Blockbuster. I know there was like that one store left somewhere. Was it in like Oklahoma or whatever?
Somewhere,
like,
yeah.
More power to them, and I was happy with that. That was like the stasis that we had reached. Like, there's one Blockbuster left in the middle of the country, and I will never have to see it again. But now, like, Netflix had to make that series, which thankfully was canceled. But like, now this is happening, and it's just like, why? What is it about?
Why?
Why? Like, it was literally, you go there and you would rent a DVD or whatever, and then you take it back later. Like that, what was the magic? Why is everyone so nostalgic for Blockbuster? They literally, it got replaced by like Redbox, by literally just a vending machine. and that was better than Blockbuster. Sorry, Josh.
Jordan is
I
so bitter.
know. I understand where you're coming from. I understand. Like, I was 5 years old once too at a Blockbuster, and I thought it was cool. But I've grown up since then, and I can't unlearn the things I've learned about human nature while working at a Blockbuster.
Well, obviously so. Obviously so. Well, all to say, so what is this? I don't know. I mean, maybe it is this elaborate April Fool's joke. But I think we talked off camera that who owns the actual logo for this? DirecTV or something?
Dish Network.
Dish Network.
Yeah.
So maybe Dish wants to do like a streaming service or like or free something, with Blockbuster, or they want to. So here's the thing: my renting videos was like part of our pop culture when we were growing up, right? Like early 90s, like that was the way to do it instead of like purchasing every VHS tape in the world, right? But then Blockbuster becomes the giant corporate giant, subsumes all of them. So like the small mom and pop, video rental place disappears, right? So like it's kind of villainous in that regard. So I can understand Jordan's take on this. But then it's just like, what are they gonna do now? And it's like, what if they're gonna do something like Redbox and try to like destroy Redbox? And it's like, I'm just thinking all this in my head right now off the top of my head, but like, I don't know what they'll do. And yeah. And I think it's just gonna be a nostalgia market, and it's gonna be hot for like 2 weeks, and it's gonna die out and fizzle out. So,
Josh is so disappointed in us right now. He was.
Yeah, because I kind of want a pop up or something, maybe, or I don't know.
But,
I really enjoyed my time at a Blockbuster, and I think maybe Jordan might have seen the worst in people there and just assumed every Blockbuster person was horrible. But I could tell you never worked at a Hollywood Video, which is like the Kmart. Kmart.
Okay, look, I'm not even gonna argue there. I get Hollywood Video was, yes, it was like, what do you even call that? Like off-brand Blockbuster or poor man's
Right.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, so
Right.
Blockbuster was like Macy's, and then
aftermarket Blockbuster.
Hollywood Video was Ross Dress for Less.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had like 5 movies for $5 deals.
They got the refuse of Blockbuster, and then they just cleaned it up and repurposed it in plastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wrong disc inside there. Yeah. You find like charges out of nowhere on your account. Like, where'd this come from? I never rented this movie. Oh man, it was the worst, dude. And those were the worst workers too.
But then they had like Oscar knickknacks. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is great. Buy it for $18."
But see, like Hollywood Videos knew what to do, because like Blockbuster, once you had like a late fee, man, that was like, honestly, back then it was like what, $3 for a late fee? Back then, that was like $10. That was equivalent to $10. So you had to open up another account somewhere else to rent a movie until you had enough money to pay that, or you wanted to pay that back, that late fee back. So
Breaking the system.
and dude, Blockbuster, there were sticklers. On the time. Like, it needs to be back before 5. It's 5:01, and no one's like checking the videos. And you're like, can you just check the videos right now? Like, just check the videos right now. Like, no, I'll wait till 5:30. I'll wait till 6 o'clock. And you're all gonna be late. Like, God damn it. And like, when you go to look for a certain movie and they are checking, or you're checking the returns, and you're like, oh, that's the movie I want. Can I get that one? They're like, no, we haven't put it back in the system yet. What do you think you put it back in the system? I don't know. I hated that answer. I really did hate that answer. Yeah, dude. It was like a video game I wanted, and I was like, oh, can I check that out? Nah, it's not ready to put back out yet. And they're just holding it for themselves. They're gonna take that game or that movie home for themselves and watch it and hold on to it for another 10 days. Keep it on rotation.
I can
See,
speak
I
from
have bad
experience
memories
and tell you that that's
too,
not what they were doing. They were just probably being assholes because their souls were broken and they just wanted to share their pain with you. That's what was happening.
it's this vicious cycle of hurt from the consumer and the employee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
But
ravages of capitalism.
Blockbuster is always a fun night. Blockbuster is always a fun night. There's a Pizza Hut around the corner. We grab Pizza Hut and then go grab a movie. Remember the 35-cent cheeseburgers from McDonald's?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Yeah. So we'd go in a 5 spot and be like, give me 20 burgers and we're going to go get a movie from Blockbuster.
Those were the days.
Those were the nights, baby.
Cheap
and then maybe
processed
Taco
food.
Bell, 2 tacos for 89 cents. Remember that?
Oh yes. Yep. Yeah, like monster tacos from Jack in the Box for a buck.
2 for $1.
Yeah. Were they 2 for $1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh wait, monster tacos? No, I don't know if monster tacos were. Regular tacos were 2 for $1.
Okay.
But I don't know. Whatever Blockbuster's doing, they gotta do it quick because I'm excited. Unless it's gonna be like some Dish TV thing.
Okay, let me ask you this: what if it was a pop-up? What if it was a pop-up in LA? You'd drive down just to check out this pop-up?
Simon, what kind of was that a serious question?
Yes.
You
Answer the
think I would
question.
drive all the way to LA?
That's my point.
For
No,
a
you
pop-up.
won't. No, you won't. It's not that great. It's just nostalgia. That's all it is.
That was a dumb question.
All right. Anyways, what's the next on the docket?
Yeah. I would like to move on from this topic personally. I feel like,
Nicolas Cage
yeah.
got some new
Nick
Dracula
Cage.
movie coming out.
Yeah.
I think this is one of his greatest roles so far.
You haven't even, okay,
You
hold
didn't
on,
think
hold
Ghost
on.
Rider was
You haven't
great?
actually seen the movie yet, but you've already decided.
I've seen the trailer, and that's all you need to see. You guys go out there, watch the trailer, and I guarantee you're gonna be like, "This is Nicolas Cage's greatest role." Better than Face Off, hands down.
Wow.
Yeah, hands
Not
down.
Con Air. Not Con Air.
Dude, Con Air was his best accent he ever had, but Face
Best
Off
hair,
was the
too.
best. He had to play John Travolta as himself. You know how
John
hard that
Travolta?
is?
John-
John Travolta. Oh shoot, John Travolta.
Nope.
Travolta.
Just a T. It's just a T.
John Travolta.
Yeah.
John Travolta is a very difficult person to be.
And apparently very difficult to say his name.
Right? Yeah.
This does look
So,
amazing, though.
Look at that! Look at that, Nicolas Cage. That
This
is
does look
him.
amazing. Yeah.
This is gonna be his great. This is his second comeback, dude. He's having a second comeback.
Okay,
He's
let's.
revitalizing his career.
People gotta. I'm sorry. People gotta stop talking about Nicolas Cage's comeback. I feel like every other year I hear about Nicolas Cage. He's in this movie. It's his big comeback. It's like that one. Was it Mandy? And then there's that movie called Pig. It's like, oh yeah, Nicolas Cage. Like this is like, he never went anywhere. he never went anywhere. He just kept making movies, and sometimes they're really bad, and sometimes they're good. Like that's been his entire career. I think people mistake the fact that Nicolas Cage will be in anything for like thinking, oh, he's fallen in hard times because he had to make a bad movie. No, I think Nicolas Cage just genuinely enjoys making bad movies. In addition to I think he just likes doing that, like as a break. Like he goes and he makes a good movie, and then like later on he's like, man, I feel like I need a break from this, and he picks out the most banana pants script he can find. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. It's like, and he just goes and he does it, and he commits to it 100% as like a. I think honestly, like there's some element of his career where I think he's like a troll. Like he's intentionally picking like weird scripts and then going in and giving insane performances, knowing what he's doing because he thinks it's funny. How else do you explain like what's that movie with the bees? Right? Not the bees. Right? Where he dresses up in a bear costume and like roundhouse kicks a woman. Like don't tell me you read that script and think like this is cinema. This is quality.
This is great material.
Yeah.
So he's a genius, is what you're saying.
I think he's a savant.
He's a genius.
Yeah, I think he's an active savant. Like he's a genius, but like not consciously. Like he's crazy, and it just happens to land him in the sweet spot for acting brilliance. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
Movie looks good.
Him over John Travolta.
Yeah.
John Travolta. Yeah, him. Yeah, Nicolas Cage.
Wow.
No comparison.
I think John Travolta kind of subsumed and became a facsimile of himself. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, you mean a parody?
That's huge. Those are huge words. That's a huge diagnosis.
Thank you. That's what I should have said. A parody of himself.
Here's the thing. I know John Travolta.
Like he's just relying on it.
He's kind of an icon, but like he is still basically a normal actor. He's tried to do some crazy roles, but he has tried to do the kind of roles that someone like Nicolas Cage can do, and he can't. I don't think he can do them. Like, what was that one he made where he plays the last one he made where he's like, what was it called? He ends up like murdering a bunch of people.
Yeah, he plays like this antisocial like stalker kind of guy, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, and it's clearly he's trying to go for something completely insane and melodramatic, but like I don't think he sells it right the way that someone like Nicolas Cage can. But this movie looks good though. I saw the trailer. Not just Nicolas Cage, but what's his name? The guy who's starring in the movie.
Oh, Nicholas Hoult as Renfield.
I kept thinking Nicholas Hoult. I'm like, no, that can't be right. I'm just confusing him with Nicolas Cage. But okay, so Nicholas Hoult, the two Nicks are gonna make a Dracula movie. But I mean, he's good in everything I've seen him in. I think he's a great actor, and he looks good in this. The cast overall looks pretty solid, and yeah, it just looks like a lot of fun. We saw. So I don't know if this is. I mean, this must be on YouTube, but Simon, we saw an R-rated trailer for this before.
We did.
On Wick.
We did.
And wow, a lot of blood. Like cartoonish amounts of blood, just insane amounts of blood everywhere. People exploding. It looks like an action horror movie comedy thing. I don't know how to describe it, but it looks amazing.
So
yeah, like that guy is like a servant of Dracula.
Renfield, yeah.
Yep.
So
and he's in an abusive relationship. Mm-hmm. He needs to get out of it.
But what's interesting is I guess he does have some of Dracula's abilities. Like he's been imbued with some of his power. So like, yeah, you see him just like rip people's arms off.
Just slaughter people without abandon.
Right. He's been his servant for 900 years, it says, or something like that. Or 90 years?
Hundreds of years. Something like a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so we're not dissing John Travolta. Obviously Grease, which is iconic.
I mean, yeah, Face Off.
Saturday
Pulp
Night
Fiction,
Fever.
for goodness sake.
Look Who's Talking. You remember Look Who's Talking?
I'm sorry, is that
that was a big movie in my childhood. Like Simon said, Pulp Fiction, Get Shorty. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Arrow.
Just it's his recent projects that have not been stellar. Like he's now playing like the bald guy, the serious or like homicidal bald guy, basically.
Right.
So.
And I think Nicolas Cage had 2 good movies in the last 10 years.
Maybe it just goes back to what Jordan is saying. Maybe he just picks bad projects. For goodness sake, he did a Left Behind reboot. Okay, Nicolas Cage did a Left Behind reboot,
and he did press for it. He did press for it.
Yes.
He went on to news stations and talked about it.
So there you go.
Take the
Passion Project.
Away.
Yeah, the Passion Project. He did Taking the Helm. The film 1, 2, 3 with Denzel Washington. From Love with Paris. From Paris with Love. Right.
Totally. Yeah, it makes all. Yeah, exactly. Stellar, past performances, but just look at what he's doing right now.
Life on the Line, Criminal Activities. Never heard of it.
I
In
see.
a Valley of Violence. Never heard of that one. I Am Wrath.
Are you talking
Gotti. Was that
about?
a movie?
Yeah, it was a movie. Play,
So
you
looking at
know,
more recent
but
stuff, like Mandy, Pig, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, right? The one where he plays himself with,
in an alternate universe with Pedro Pascal. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Now he's in Renfield. So I mean, yeah, recently he's done some good stuff. You know,
Hmm.
but
All right. Well, let's move on.
but yeah, this looks good. Looking forward to it.
Rounding up some of our bottom ones. Our bottom ones. Some of our. So next, Gears of War. We have a movie coming to Netflix. Um, a huge following. There's a cult following for Gears of War. A buddy of ours, Simon, loved Gears of War. His name is Jamin. Little shout out to Jamin, Jameezy.
I mean,
He was
is
a
cult
huge God of War
following
fan.
really the word? Because those games are pretty popular, right? I remember they were the first and second at least were huge.
Were they? I don't know. I never played them. I never had, never once thought that I wanted to play them.
Hmm.
I only know one. Again, one of my friends plays it, and that's Jamin. I don't know anybody else that played it, but that's not saying a lot either. So, um, obviously, it's popular enough for them to make a movie on Netflix. But again, are you excited for it, Jordan?
I'm not excited for the property. So yeah, I've never really played the game, but I'm not like a huge fan of shooters, so that's not saying much.
Mm.
But yeah, they are very popular. The franchise continues to this day. Um, it's not that interesting of a story to me personally. Like, hey, you have these big tough guys fighting aliens. That's like every video game shooter, right? Like that's Halo. Um,
Yeah.
but they're bringing in a writer from Dune, and I think you mentioned what's his name wants to wants to be in them.
Oh, Dave Bautista.
Dave
Dave
Bautista,
Bautista,
yeah,
yeah.
who is
Do
has
you
been
think
good in literally everything I've ever seen him in, and continues to get better and better as an actor. So like, they could make something good out of
right?
this, right? So yeah, not excited about the property, but if the talent they bring together is strong, they could do something cool with it, and I'm interested to see where they take it.
Do you think with like a Dune writer that ground the story more, or would it be as uh,
I mean, it's
you know?
I don't think they need to ground it. Just make good use of the material that's there, right? Like, The
Its
Last of Us is
characters are
really
huge
good.
characters, like just physically huge,
Yes, they are
huge
physically very
people.
big. I don't. Well, I mean, it's not like they need to physically make giant men to be in the movie.
But their
Um,
monsters are physically huge too. Like they're huge
oh yeah,
monsters.
but that's part that. Yes, they still need to have huge monsters. That's like, I think that's table stakes, right? I would just say like you look at like The Last of Us, right? And that worked because they stayed true to the source material. They didn't copy it.
Mm.
They did change things, but what they changed emphasized themes from the source
Right.
material that made sense. So like they could do the same here, right? It's not as profound and layered as The Last of Us was. It's mostly just guys running around shooting aliens. But hey,
The
that's
background that you see in here is the background of the game. Like literally, like
that's
the
yeah, that's what
game,
it
like the
looks like.
background of the game is on fire and just
Yeah,
destroyed. So
this
it's
could
gonna be a lot of
be
CGI, I think.
yeah. I don't know. This could be. What they could do with this is I think they could potentially pull off what Vin Diesel was trying to do with Chronicles of Riddick, because they're pretty similar in terms of their vibe, like kind of
Right.
not. I don't know if I'd say gothic, but definitely like darker space action, right? Um, and could be good. Could be good. I don't know. We'll have to see what the cast looks like
Yeah.
and who else and who's directing this. That's going to be a big part of it too. Is like it's this kind of action
Right.
stuff. It depends really heavily on who's directing it to make it work. We were just talking about John Wick. Like if that were shot by any other director, it would probably be pretty boring to look at. And Stileski just really knows how to shoot action, so he makes it look amazing, right?
Yeah.
If if Chad Stileski directed this, I'd definitely watch it. um, so
And this is Gears of War is strictly an Xbox
yeah,
game. Like you can't have it's not a PlayStation. So Microsoft sold their rights or gave them rights to this. So that's a cool little team up. Maybe something to see in the future because Halo sucked on Paramount. I couldn't get through the first episode
Wow.
of Halo.
I couldn't. I had
So
zero
Simon,
interest in that.
it looked promising, but I was not interested. Yeah, it was just not
Yeah.
great for me. Simon, did you ever play any of the Gears of War games or?
I have not. I knew of the story a little bit, but it's. I didn't know the details of it. I know there were hardcore people like Xbox owners, like hardcore people who loved Gears of War. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the intricacies of the story is what they loved. So it makes sense that they're going to have a live action movie of it. In that regard, for me, I'm not super interested in it. All I want is John DiMaggio to be in it, and I want him to especially play the character that he voices, which is Phoenix, Marcus Michael Phoenix. But that's just me.
So
and Ron Perlman should be in it.
And Ron Perlman would make sense for this though. Like I know you're trying to make a joke.
Totally,
but yeah, he would totally make sense in this. Yeah.
But like half serious though, you know what I'm saying? Because like I think he could totally do it. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways.
Anyway, for
but he's not
context, by the way,
though.
John DiMaggio is the voice of Bender, and he voiced the main character in the games. For anyone who hasn't played the games.
Yep.
Right, but John, I think DiMaggio would be a better fit than.
I know what
Ron
you're doing,
Perlman,
Josh. I know what you're doing. So let's just continue on.
Perlman.
We don't have to talk about
Perlman's
this anymore.
Going to need like a solid cast around him for anybody interested. Because Ron Perlman's known for mostly TV.
You're a monster, Joshua. That's what you are. You are a monster.
This is a Netflix movie, and they want big names like Chris Evans, the Russo brothers, Tom Hardy, Tom Hall. So Ron Perlman would be a great supporting cast member. I think.
So Josh's passive aggressive attitude aside, you mentioned the Russo brothers. Because they're working at Netflix, making just one unremarkable action film after another. And that's probably the one thing about this that I would say gives me pause. It's Netflix, and they don't really have a great track record with a lot of their adaptations and stuff. That could change. I mean, there's been we've heard some good things about Avatar potentially, but like this isn't going to like HBO Max, right? Where I feel like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be good. This is going to Netflix. Might be good, might not be good. They might cancel it after a season or two, right? Which is a little disappointing to think about because, I just thought about this. Josh, you mentioned, it's Microsoft. What other video game franchises do they own the rights to that would make really great long form like action adventure stuff? Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, right? Like that would get me excited. If they were turning that into like a really big budget, like either TV show or series of movies, I would lose my shit over that. That would be amazing. But not at Netflix. I'd want to see that on HBO.
Amazon should have bought that.
Or Amazon,
Lord of the Rings.
So
for sure should have bought that. But yeah, I think we'll see. I'll watch it, but I'm not going to be excited to watch it. I'm not excited now to watch it. There's just like this. It feels cheap. It feels beneath me when I look at this poster. Like, look at that giant gun with a chainsaw on it. Like, no, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, thank you. What purpose does it have? Simon, you're muted, and I'm glad you are.
You look very incensed and upset.
That was part of the gameplay, though. Like that hand-to-hand combat, and then you would have to like button smash, and then once you win the button smashing competition, then you could get the chainsaw to just cut your opponent in half. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Really selling the show there, Simon. It's like, oh, it's butt mashing, and then
I'm just saying that it was just part of the gameplay. So
The fans were probably better off you not just saying, to be honest with you.
so
Just not saying next time.
to try to return some dignity to this conversation, after these two have just been sniping at each other the whole time. This game, that game was pretty heavy on those QuickTime events, right? I think it's like because it is very like cinematic, like oh my god, giant monster, right? Like so, and that's the kind of stuff where like maybe that should be a TV show because clearly it's barely even a game at that point. It's just like an excuse to slow down and look at all the VFX we put together for this scene. It looks amazing,
right?
So.
Yeah, maybe they might. Like God of War would be a great TV show.
Especially
you have
you mean like the more recent, like the reboot, right? Where he has a son. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that actually would be dope. That'd be very cool.
Yeah, I would not be mad at that. I wouldn't even be mad if they start from the beginning and work their way up. You know, they have a lot of seasons there, a lot of material. And it only gets better, right? Because the latest seasons are fantastic.
I mean, there is a case to be made because like those games were not very mature. They were just kind of like running around hack and slash, right? It'd be interesting to see if they went back and tried to take that more grown-up approach that they took for the newer games, but applied it to that story. Like, let's try to actually make this good, right? Like, let's actually try to tell a good story. Yeah. So. Yeah,
because there's like almost every game there's like an orgy scene that you could participate or not participate in. I'm serious.
No, I know. I just like those games were so ridiculous.
I think the game developers, when they made the first 3, they were like in their 20s. Like, this is gonna be great. Yeah. And then like they're in their 30s and 40s. It's like they have kids now. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I want to share my experience of
with my kids.
They feel like they need to redeem themselves. Like let's actually try to make like I don't know something people will respect us for.
And hey, did they win? Did they win, man?
They did.
It's so maybe this should be for another episode. But I want to get your take on where you think God of War will go next, because there's clues in the Ragnarok games, but yeah. Anyways,
we should. So we haven't done any video game centric reviews or episodes yet, but there's some stuff coming up this year. So maybe when that comes around, because like there's gonna be Hades 2 coming out. Speaking of like fighting Greek gods, right. Hades 2 is coming out, which I am super hyped for. Tears of the Kingdom, like I went and bought a Steam Deck just so I could play Hades again. So like I think it's. That's another game we can add to the list of stuff that we might want to do a deep dive on at some point. But we should move on from this because clearly Josh is just throwing one piece of news after another out that he just not excited for. And just looking at the screen like he's just waiting for this to end.
It's like he's thinking, man, do I really want to talk about this one?
No. I'm going to switch it up, Simon, so get ready, okay?
Maybe you have something to say about it. I don't know. Maybe someone cares about this. But it's all we got to talk about this week. So
I apologize for that. You're right. I need to be better. You're absolutely right, Jordan. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm not saying you need to be better.
Simon, I'm not.
This is the show within the show for me right now. Is Josh just suffering through one piece of news after another that he just couldn't give less of a shit about? It's just...
Yeah, you know what? I'm just exhausted. I was up at 3 this morning for work, and I'm fighting the energy right now when I have to. And I don't have the energy to continue on with this topic.
Okay. All right.
No,
that's
perfect.
Fair.
It's perfect. That's the kind of energy I want to see in review. I do not have the energy for this right now.
I'm just gonna. At best, guys, I'm phoning it in. I'm just phoning this in.
I can't do this right now.
I need to clock out. I had 2 C4s this morning, and I was like on cloud 9. I was like flying through things. And then around 4 o'clock, I hit this freaking wall.
I bet your heart stopped momentarily in that wall.
That's stuff
like 0.04 seconds. I had one at 9 and then at 11. So when I felt my second crash,
when I felt the first crash, I was like, into your body. Yeah, when you crash, you're gonna crash. Like, You should switch to green tea.
I'm on the road, and so my facility that I have gives out these energy drinks.
C4s.
Yeah.
Wow.
See that?
And there's Zoas too. Hold on. They give out Zoas, which
I
is
see what you're doing. Okay.
The Rock's energy drink.
You mean the dick?
Yeah. Speaking of The Rock, guys, great segue.
Yeah. Very, very smooth, guys.
It was confirmed that The Rock was black. Whoa. Hey. Whoa. Let's reel that back. Rewind. It was confirmed that The Rock was blocking Shazam from being in Black Adam, man.
Wow.
And that's disappointing. Like, it's one thing to accept that Dwayne Johnson is a bad actor, but he's entertaining in his movies. But for him to try to take control of my beloved comic book genre movies and try to act like he's going to put his Fast Five, The Tower, Rampage, Tooth Fairy type movies acting into my movies pisses me off. I think he's going to go walk around bloating and toting his power, acting like he's the reason why if Jumanji made $1 billion, why what's that? The Disney Cruise Line made $1 billion.
Right.
They didn't make $1 billion, by the way.
No.
But he literally told DCU he's a $4 billion draw, and that they need to take his advice and heed to his whatever you want, his plan for this movie. So I'm really upset, dude. I really am upset, actually, now that I think about it. Is it Zach Lively? Is that his name?
Zachary Levy.
Zachary Lively?
Zachary Levi. Zachary Levi. Levi. Like Levi.
Thank you, Jordan. Levi. Thank you, Jordan, for directing us.
I felt like I had to nip that in the bud. Like, this is just going completely off the rails now.
False information again from Simon.
I feel like that movie.
Simon, that's strike 3, dude. That is strike 3.
What did you say?
We're going and we're talking about racism. You're over here talking about sexism, the women, and now just getting people's name wrong and acting like it's facts.
That's strike 3.
You ever seen that episode of the Always Sunny pod where they get totally wasted while recording? That's where I feel like we're going now. It's not drunk. It's just like really tired.
I'm hopped up on hops, guys. I'm lucky to hopped up.
There you go. So, there you go.
I didn't know we were drinking for this. I would have done that. I feel like we got to get on the same page here, guys, about the state of mind we're trying to be in when we record this.
I just feel that yeah, this episode has just been flawed right from the get-go.
I'm having a good time. Okay, I'm having a great time. I'm in a good place right now. Don't ruin it, Simon. That's all I got to say. With your negativity, with your racism.
I don't think I'm that negative.
You know, you have a mother and a sister. How dare you, Simon?
I don't know.
They're the only people who listen to our podcast, Simon. What are you thinking? We can't alienate our entire audience.
I'm so sorry. Our subscription base goes down to 2.
Yeah. Your sister's comments is 100% of our current engagement right now. It's literally all we have. I checked the analytics this morning. It's just her.
It's just Grace.
If that happens, if we lose my family as our subscription base, I will do a YouTube apology video for this.
To your family? Who's sitting in the other room like right now, you'll apologize to them over YouTube.
Right. It's like, hey, I really messed up. I just feel, though, that there were certain things that were misinterpreted of what I said. But right. You know what? I understand that I hurt your guys' feelings. And I really want to acknowledge that I did. And I am just so sorry about that.
And then you upload that. And then you cut like a little short out of it somewhere to increase engagement on the platform. And,
exactly.
And then hopefully they'll see it and they'll hit the like button. They'll smash that like button. on your apology.
Smash the like button, guys.
Smash that like button.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell for reminders.
I feel like there's a really deep metaphor in there somewhere for like the entanglement of modern life and technology, but I'm too tired to dive into that. The Rock.
Yes. Yes.
So the reason I think this is worth talking about though is like it's not just one thing, right? Like because originally I think it's pretty clear Black Adam was supposed to be in the second movie. The plot of the second movie feels like it could have just been Black Adam, and they had to swap him out at some point, right? Like everything about the way what are the Daughters of Atlas, like their whole thing.
Yeah.
They've got a grudge against the Wizard, and like yeah, this could have just been Black Adam, right? And then The Rock's like, no, he's got to have his own movie. And then he's like, and we don't want Shazam showing up in the cameo at the end. And then in the cameo at the end of Shazam 2, it was supposed to be the Justice Society. And
Right.
The Rock vetoed that because they were his, I guess. Like they belonged to him because they were in his movie, because I guess that's how he thinks superhero movies work. He called dibs.
Right.
And so they had to scramble. The director of Shazam had to scramble at last minute to find someone else to set that up. Which led to a lot of people on the internet thinking that somehow James Gunn was casting his wife in every movie. And it turns out like, no, he wasn't even involved with DC at that point, right? Like the casting, like they needed to find people to fill those roles, and that's who was available, right? Because of The Rock, apparently. And now Zachary Levi is going. You saw some of these videos, right? He's just online now, spilling the tea, just all over. Like it's all over the table, just spilling the tea. Because I think he just like, you know what? He doesn't care anymore. Like there's all these rumors flying around. He's like, look, guys, we tried our best. We did everything we could, but like, you know, he's not going out and saying it's The Rock's fault, but he's also trying to be clear. Like, look, it's not the director's fault. You know, it's not anything we did. Like we try to be team players, but some people don't want to be team players, right? I don't even care about the DCU, and I'm a little bit mad about it because there's just like this sense of like, man, like, could you imagine like it takes like 2 years to make a movie, and could you imagine putting that much work into this stuff, and then like one person's ego comes along and kind of like disrupts your whole project? Like that's, it's just like it just sucks.
A new guy at that, like a new guy to the team, to the system, and like the thing is. From what I understand and what I was like reading and hearing, Zach is a huge comic book fan. He's like an actual nerd.
Yeah.
He tries to stay true to the comics, which in the first movie was pretty close, pretty damn close, pretty good.
Yeah.
And so he knows how important Black Adam and Shazam are with each other. And The Rock just wanted to be like, nah, you're not a big enough character for me. So I need Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill.
At some point, we should maybe just give up on pronouncing people's names because I feel like it's so hard for us to do that.
That should be our shtick. Yeah. We just pronounce them in our own way.
Just make our pronunciations,
So, like, I don't know. He tried to make this character that he has, The Rock tried to make this character that he has, that he created, one of the biggest characters in the DCU. And he walked around saying he's about to change the power of the powers are going to shift. Or so what was this? He had a saying that he said every single time.
The hierarchy of power is about to shift in the DCU.
Yeah. Meaning like he took that literal, right? Yeah. And he put it everywhere, and he took it and ran with it and said, I'm pretty much going to run DCU now.
Right. So in essence, we really were seeing Shazam versus Black Adam, but just in a really boring way, like behind the scenes, in a corporate way,
right?
On the screen where we wanted to see it happen,
right? And literally, The Rock was a bully, dude. He was a bully. He used his status, he used his name, his body, really to get what he wanted, and the old DC just crumbled before him. And so for me, Black Adam isn't even one of like the key villains. He's a secondary character to a secondary character.
Right.
To Shazam.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted to see. I think that would have been really cool to see.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yep,
disappointed in The Rock. I really am.
I'm. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry
go ahead.
No, I'm actually thrilled that this news was leaked out because I always had a suspicion of The Rock and his motives and his he always kind of want to present himself, and this is all of his brand. This is just his. It's all about his branding of the of the image of The Rock of Dwayne Johnson, right? But I think deep down he's just another cutthroat businessman, and he's just looking out for himself. And I just think he's very disingenuous. There's this sense of him. I really feel that he's a huge jerk, and this kind of cracked his pristine veneer of a nice guy facade that he wants to promote. He's not. I don't think he is, and I'll dare say it. I think he's not natural either. He's juiced up on PEDs. It might not be roids, but he's juiced up on PEDs. It's not sustainable for this man in his 40s to be this.
He's 50.
Case in point, then it's just not sustainable. Wow, naturally speaking.
Sorry, this is the most passionate you guys have been about anything as long as we've been recording this podcast. Like something about The Rock just lit a fuse.
I'm smoking now, guys.
Genre, and he tried to change and influence this genre, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's one thing to go into Fast and Furious franchise and create something that's new, right? Something that's
so apparently
or bring something back. But like a comic book, we want to see the source material shine through, and he's just making something and creating this Rock character rather than the Black Adam character, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's really forcing it down our throats. From what I read and understand, the Justice Society wasn't supposed to be the movie at all, but because he vetoed the Shazam cameos and stuff, mm-hmm. he was forced to take them in. That was one of the things was to take them in, because I guess there was already a contract for the JSA characters to be in these movies, and so for them not to be in Shazam's movies, he had to take them and put them in his movies. And I think the studio did a good thing there, because that's really the only saving grace of Black Adam are those characters, are Dr. Fate and the Hawkman did great. I think he could have his own movie soon, or his own series. Those characters are great, but Black Adam in itself really sucks.
So, okay, so wow, really striking a nerve here with you guys. So I can't pretend to be that passionate about it, because I don't know. I've never met Dwayne Johnson. I don't know much about him. I don't really care that much about the DCU or DCEU or whichever one is ending.
Yeah.
But I think the most interesting thing to me about this whole situation is, one, it's repeating what happened with the Fast and the Furious, right? Because it seems like the exact same order of events played out there, where they added The Rock, and then he kind of just wanted more and more space for himself in the franchise, and then they gave him his own movie, and it didn't really work out, and now he's out of the franchise, right? And it's really obvious, because as they made more movies, they just keep bringing people back. They bring people back who died, who obviously died on camera. They just bring him back anyway. But The Rock is not coming back. They bring back a man who literally actually died, like he died in real life, but they keep bringing him back somehow, right? But they're not bringing back The Rock. And also, it's funny because watching this, 'cause I just keep thinking, it looks, the way he acts in these roles, it kind of feels like he's treating this the same way he would treat professional wrestling, where he is playing himself up, right? And trying to that's how you do that, right? In professional wrestling, you gotta be oh, I'm the biggest, baddest guy, and then you challenge people. And so that's what he wants to do, is I'm the biggest and baddest guy. That's his whole character. And that's I didn't see the movie because I just didn't care, but all the reviews were just oh yeah, Rock's entire character is he's just he's the biggest, baddest guy in the world. That's literally it. That's the character. And so of course he's got to go up in Superman because he wants to fight the other, and prove that he's the biggest. And that is not how you build a universe. You know, you can't build an entire cinematic universe around the ego of one person. Like that doesn't.
Right.
That is not how this works. But he's tried to apply that because I suspect, like, he learned to do that as a pro wrestler and it worked for him. It made him famous, and he learned to do that as an action star in his own movies, and it kept working. And so he's just still doing that, right? And he's run into this like limit now twice. Where like, no, dude, that doesn't work. Like in these bigger franchises, like you got to be a team player. But maybe he just doesn't really know how to operate that way, right? Where he's just always adversarial all the time. And I do wonder. I mean, The Rock has kind of established himself as kind of like the closest thing to a classic like 80s style action star we still have. But like, where does he go after something like this? What is like? I mean, he keep making these like sort of like mid-budget action things, like The Tower, right? But that's not exactly a way to maintain a career. Sooner or later, that's gonna, because you know where that leads. That leads eventually to straight to DVD land, right? That leads to like, you know, straight to digital land, and next thing you know, he's filming movies in Russia, right? Like, do you guys think that he recovers from this and manages to maintain his current status as like an A-list draw, or what happens to him after this?
I'll tell you what, immediately what he started doing within the last week is posting more social media videos of him with his family. So he's trying to repair his image because he didn't have any of that before. It was like XFL, his ice cream, him working out. And now he's like with his daughters all the time. He's spending time getting like pets and animals and spending time outside the house with his girls. And so he's really trying to repair this image that he has built. But I don't know. I think he should be done. He should be done doing action films. That's my opinion.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So your answer is he should just be done. That's it. Literally, just
He should
stop.
be done. Yeah, I think because who is that? I mean, unless he wants to be the next Sylvester Stallone and do the Untouchables or Expendables, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
You know, like that's what he's going to be good for soon. I know he's working on the Disney movie, the Disney Cruise, or no, what's it called?
A sequel
Jungle
to
Cruise?
Jungle
Cruise.
Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing
Because
a
that was
sequel to
super successful, you know. But
It was actually. He made like 800
Really?
million on that thing.
So I got
yeah.
hold on. I just want to pause for a moment. We can't throw shade at Sylvester Stallone because yes, he has made big dumb action movies, but also he wrote and directed Rocky, and is genuinely a really good actor.
And I'm not knocking him in the sense that
I know,
but
I know,
that he's past his prime, and he's really trying. He's really trying to hang on with the Expendables,
right?
But I think there's some actually good shows on now.
He went and did that, but then he went and made Rocky Balboa, and then he went and made Creed, right? And like,
that's true.
Kind of reminded the world, like, oh yeah, this guy's like a genuine thespian when he wants to be,
right?
Like,
right, yeah, that's true. And I don't think The Rock has created anything.
Exactly. So that's the interesting part to me is like you can make fun of like Sylvester Stallone or Schwarzenegger like all you want for like their bad movies and stuff, but also those two had genuine star quality that kind of set them apart, right? Like Stallone, he's a good writer, a good director, like a genuine actor, right? Who just also happens to fit into that mold of being an action star, right? And Schwarzenegger, I mean, yeah, he's just an action star, but man, he's just like the type of like he was in Terminator 2. Like he stands in front of a camera, right? From like the 80s through like the early 2000s, you just put that guy in front of a camera and immediately it looks like you're making a big budget action blockbuster. There's just something about that star quality. And I feel like I've never
Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah. Last Action Hero. Oh my gosh! Talk about meta. That movie was so
that is
good.
A surprisingly good movie. I mean, it's a shame that it bombed because I actually liked it a lot. But I feel like The Rock has never. I feel like The Rock is playing that role or trying to fit into that mold, but I've never quite seen the spark.
You know what?
You know,
he did Ballers. I think he made Ballers,
on
which
HBO.
was an HBO show.
Yeah.
Is that good?
I think he did. I want to say he did, but I'm not sure. But he just played himself.
Exactly. That's exactly what he's doing. He's in a playground, and he says, "I want to pretend to be this as myself, this as myself." I really feel that. But okay, because I'm thinking about Dave Bautista. Like, both Rock and Dave Bautista came from the same wrestling. Dave Bautista, phenomenal actor. Rock, what's going on? And I don't know. And like, I'm wondering maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
mean,
I
here's
just
a key difference though. Bautista, did you guys read? I think I sent that article to you guys. There's an interview with him where he talks about how he made that career transition. Like, that dude had a wrestling career, and then it kind of fizzled out, and he, through bad money management or whatever, he kind of lost everything. And then he tried to get into acting, and he had to start from the very bottom. And like, when he got Drax, that was like, he was not like, he wasn't like The Rock where he transitioned from being like, I'm a big famous wrestler to transitioning to being a big famous actor. He kind of had to like work his way up, right? And I don't know. And now I suspect partly, yeah, Bautista just seems like a nice guy, but also that experience probably, like, you can't have an ego through that, right? You got to learn.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I really think that Dwayne Johnson's ego is totally getting in his way, and it might have been successful up to this point because there was this careful manicuring of it, whether it's with publicists, a team of publicists around it. I don't know if he does,
he
but
absolutely does have like a
I'm pretty sure he has a team. Yeah. And just everything that he's doing, it's all based off this brand of himself, and that is perpetual ego feeding of him. It's like, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm the greatest, right?
Right.
But I think deep down, I think it's just a shell. And I think we come to realize maybe it's coming from. If I knew where it's coming from and I could understand it, maybe. But I just think that. I think more and more, I think what we'll see is we're going to be exposed of who the real Rock is. Sooner than later, people who've been around him forever, they're going to just say, hey, you know what? He's a jerk, man. And so it's just like, and he's not the nice guy that we think he is. And a lot of it maybe is because of that upbringing of just learning, hey, this is how I survive. This is how I make.
Whether he's like a nice guy or not, I think the more important thing is, yeah, if he's been surrounded by handlers and yes men for so long that he's just kind of like, maybe he's not like a mean person, but he's just kind of self-absorbed, not even really out of ego, but just because that's just, when his world is built around him. That's what happens to famous people sometimes, right? Like, their world is built around them, and they lose touch with, reality, right?
Yep.
Because what do you expect to happen when somebody lives 24/7 in a bubble constructed precisely to keep them happy and give them everything they could ever want? Anyway, let's move on to the next piece of news you don't care about.
Actually, I do care about this one.
Oh, okay.
It's the Power Rangers, and they're returning.
Of course.
Go Power Rangers!
That's true. We know how much you love the Power Rangers.
Go Power
I love the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Go Power Rangers.
There's no news. Josh just wants to sing the Power Rangers song.
You Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah, so thank you, Simon. The Power Rangers are returning. And they're returning to Netflix. I don't know if this is a show or it's a film. It looks like a movie. So we have some of the Billy looks like he got a lot of work done, doesn't he?
He's
some of
older.
the people I've noticed have aged better than others.
Billy must have been like 40 when they really started shooting back in the day.
Well, they were all
maybe
they were supposed to be in high school, but they were all like in their 20s or something, right? Like
22, 25. But yeah, so the trailer looks fantastic, really nostalgic. I think you're right, Simon. Watch it again. Zach might be in control now of the Power Rangers, which is not a bad look.
Yeah.
I always liked the Black Ranger. It was pretty cool. He had a cool helmet, right? Cool
Mastodon.
weapon.
Yeah.
2 battle axes that
became a shotgun.
Yeah.
The show was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah. So our favorite villain, Rita, returns, and she's like a half cyborg.
Yep.
Half Rita Repulsa. And really, you don't got too much other than putties are back. Um, the characters you never really liked in Power Rangers are back from like season 3 and 4. Um, Trini's daughter's in there, so
Mhm.
that's cool. They're bringing her in and keeping up the Yellow Ranger. Um,
Legacy.
yeah, Simon, you might be happy about that. And you know,
Why would I be happy about that?
uh, I was
As
trying to
long
get
as
it
they
to
got
you.
as long as they got an Asian person, I guess I'm just
I didn't
thrilled.
say that. I didn't say that.
I'm assuming that you're thinking that.
No, I thought you mentioned you really enjoyed the Yellow Ranger growing
I
up
did
because
not.
of Saber-Tooth Tiger.
Nope, I did not.
Fun fact: in the Japanese version, the Yellow Ranger is actually
Was a
a man.
was a
He's a
man.
male.
Yep, was
Yeah,
a man.
yeah.
So, so as someone who's not like a huge Power Rangers fan, I mean, I remember the show mostly. The thing that was most interesting to me is one, what was the guy name? The Black Ranger? What's his name again?
Zach.
The
Zach.
character's name is Zach. Yeah.
Looks like 20 years younger than everyone else,
Yeah.
and
Right.
clearly
Right.
has 10 times as much energy for this because he is having the most fun in the trailer of anybody.
Right.
And that's the main reason that piqued my interest. Like, because like at first I'm like, oh, they're just bringing back the old cast. I guess they're all old now. But like then he came on screen. I'm like, okay, like so there's some passion here, right? There's like
Right.
like a desire to make this good. The thing that I was surprised with when you guys like mentioned this to me and I looked at the trailer, I'm like, wait, didn't they just like reboot the Power Rangers with like a movie? And then I
Yeah.
realized that's been a few years, and they apparently that's done because I haven't seen any sequels made for that. And I guess they just decided nobody cares about the reboot, so they're just going all the way back to the original cast because there were like what, like 5 or 7 different versions of the Power
Dude,
Rangers.
no, there's like 15.
There's like
So
30. Yeah.
yeah, there's like
Wow.
They
Okay.
continued
yeah.
every year
And
after.
Nickelodeon. I forgot when, but Nickelodeon bought it,
Okay.
and so Disney bought it one time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they were changing hands left and right, man.
So is the idea here to do like a sort of soft reboot? Like, look, let's bring back the original cast, introduce some new people, and do it that way.
Yeah. I think I'm getting that sense. I'm thinking it's a passing the mantle. Like, so it's gonna start off as a movie, but this is Netflix, right? It's Netflix,
Right.
so we don't know. But they're gonna start off as a movie. If Netflix sees that it's has some kind of profit, I think they're gonna do a reboot for sure.
And another thing that I thought was super interesting about this, watching the trailer, is like, so that movie they made, like they tried to like, the look of it was very like more contemporary, kind of like teen drama slash adventure film, right? The color grading and stuff looked like that. The suits all had like texture because all super suits today have to have some kind of weird texture on them, I guess.
Right.
But this, it just looks like the old show, like the way it's shot, the suits, the effects. Like they're not trying to like update it or like modernize it or make it look more serious. Like they're just leaning into just the whole vibe, that 90s like kind of, not low budget, but definitely like campy, I guess, aesthetic where like they're in bright
that's a good way of
suits and they're
describing it.
spinning around and jumping and there's like radical guitar music and right. That's actually kind of interesting to me. They're like, no, they're just going for it. Like this is pure 80s nostalgia, right? Just pumped right into your veins, just inject it straight in.
Very campy.
Yeah. Which the show was, but like that's part of what made it work, I think, is it's just like this is crazy, it's super colorful, right? No one just talks. They all yell and they gesticulate and throw their hands around while they're talking. So I'm actually kind of interested as someone who was not a huge fan. Like I watched as a kid because it was like everyone watched it because it was popular, right? But I'm kind of interested because I'm like, yeah, this is just a really like it looks like a really faithful adaptation, which is not something I would ever have expected for this franchise.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun watch, man. I think I would have thought they would want to reach the generation that really watched them, but they're like, no, we're gonna stick to a very young campy and keep it the same, and build a new generation of watchers at a very young age. And I thought, like you said, I think they're going to reboot this first series because that was the most popular series ever, right? They have the best looking suits, the best Zords. They just got weirder and weirder as it went on.
But the Japanese versions, so the guy who started it, the guy who bought the property rights to bring it to America is Haim Saban, right? And that guy like basically realized, hey, you know what? Cartoons have been doing this, but they were gonna recycle footage of the old school Japanese versions and just make it a new show here, right? And golly, there's like 60 of them now.
Yeah.
60 of these Ranger shows in Japan, and like some of them are weird, man. Like there's one that's revolved around a train, there's one revolved on luchadors, like specifically luchadors. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty you gotta fact check me on that one.
Figure out the title of that and send it to me later. I'm interested. I want to see the Mighty Morphin luchadors.
Yeah. Anyways, it's just nuts. Like a lot of these were crazy. And but this one was awesome. This one was super cool. And shoot, it got so popular they did a primetime block of that and the X-Men animated series.
I remember
that vividly. Yeah, it was amazing. Like the Phoenix Saga started off in primetime. It was in the evening. They replaced it. I shouldn't say this because I really don't know, but like I think it was Monday night they did it, and like yeah, man, they could have done other things like football, you know what I'm saying, but they had 2 kids shows Monday night on Fox. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
So the real question for me, and I think this is a question for Josh as the one with a 6-year-old boy, right? Do you feel like this is something you could watch with your kid? Because like I feel like that's what they're going for here is like, look, we've got people who grew up with this, they're in their 30s, maybe 40s, now they got kids. So if we make this, they'll watch it with their kids, right? We get them back, we make new fans, right? And maybe they can watch new shows. Like, is that something you think? First off, you mentioned your son has a lot of energy. Do you think this is something you would actually want to see?
Yeah, you know what? When it comes to watching shows, we limit his watching to like the weekends, so he doesn't watch anything all day or all week until the weekends, and that's in the evening at that. So yeah, he gets really excited when he watches. He's focused. He's like, he's locked in, you know. So I know we can watch Power Rangers. He enjoy it, and I get to talk about, you know, the things I've seen growing up. I have a few. Actually, I have a bunch of action figures.
Yeah.
And I have a few Zords that he's seen and he remembers. He's always wanted to play, but I would tell him no.
Are they collectibles?
Those aren't toys. Those are collectibles.
These are daddy's investments, son.
This is
that's your college right there,
boy.
Yes. So yeah, he'd be juiced to watch this, and I'd be juiced to sit there and tell him about certain characters and stuff, like how that Red Ranger Rocky was a disgrace because he wasn't the true leader. You know, Tommy became the leader, so he really disgraced the Red Ranger Nation. But anyways, that's just me.
Wow.
Nice.
But I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I just think the nostalgia thing is real for me, and it's like, yeah, I'll check it out, you know. But I feel a lot of it's gonna be cringeworthy, in my opinion, just to see like these older, like folks that shouldn't be twirling and kicking and doing roundhouse kicks all the time, like doing those things.
Well, I mean, the people in the costumes will do the roundhouse kicks.
Sure,
right.
And then every now and then they'll take the helmet off, and it'll be the.
Yeah, but like, there's like moments where like, you know, when they say it's morphin time, just seeing that, I'm just like seeing 55-year-old people doing it. I'd be like, oh man, this is a big cringe, you know, and like.
It was pretty funny. There's a shot in the trailer where, yeah, like they're in their costume, and he has like the Blue Ranger, right? He has his helmet off, but he's still got the rest of the costume on. And yeah, it is like, yeah, that's a 50-year-old man in a Halloween costume.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and then like another thing too is JDF, Jason David Frank.
Right.
He was like the only person that did it. Like from the previous shows, he's the one that they always brought, you know, because everyone loved Tommy. Everyone loved Tommy, Jason David Frank, right? And since he passed away, now everyone else is coming back, and it's just like, this is kind of weird for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what the story is behind it, like why they didn't come back like with Tommy, but like I heard Jason David Frank, again, unsubstantiated, but like I heard Jason David Frank was difficult to work with, you know, and just maybe this is an opening for everyone else, but like yeah, I don't know, but that was
Simon again.
Yeah,
Gossip Simon coming back, starting problem, giving people's bad names. We don't know about Jason David Frank.
No.
Let him rest, dude. He just passed away.
You're right.
You want to talk about all this bad stuff about him? Let him rest, Simon.
I'm just wondering why
don't be that guy, dude.
I'm just wondering why we haven't.
You're better than this.
I'm just wondering why.
Honestly, audience, I'm sorry. I apologize for Simon. You know what? We're gonna deal with this behind the scenes in the secret podcast family way, and just let him know this is unacceptable. He talks about the dead. He talks about women. He talks about racist comments and you know, making fun of people's accents. This is not going to stand. And you know, leave a comment below of some disciplinary actions you would like us to take with him. But again, we'll take that information and behind the scenes deal with it privately.
I just want to know why we're seeing this happening now. And so but anyways.
Yeah, and with that, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. We got some things to fix and take care of.
We are 2.5 hours in, and most of that is not actual coverage of any topic. It's just
it's rebuking Simon and getting him on track. That's what that is. 2023, dude. Okay.
And next year is 2024. And the year after that is 2025.
All right.
Don't mock what you've done, Simon. Don't take it lightly. All right, own it. So, with that, guys, it was great having you here. Yeah. I feel like it was a good show.
I mean, you're drinking, so I'm sure.
Right, exactly.
It was a blast.
What was it? Lagunitas hoppy what?
Sparkling water.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
It's just sparkling water.
It's a placebo effect.
Okay, then I guess it's all those energy drinks or something.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. I think he fizzled out. Yep. Yeah. He fizzled out. His heart is saying, "I need you to rest. I need you to sleep right now because we just can't handle you up right now."
Yeah. Let's end this before Josh has a heart attack.
Yeah. Right.
That's not nice.
It's not nice.
Who's the one that chugged 2 C4s today?
True.
Honestly, it's kind of sketchy, isn't it? Like your job is just giving you those. Like, obviously they're just like, you know, they
have a fridge. They have this like 2 giant fridges in the warehouse, and these are for like the drivers, right? They're not for me. They're for the drivers, so they don't crash. I was a help, so they have me going on with this whole week. I had to ride along with the drivers to understand, you know, the work they do, and you know, get a feel of how I could better assist them, right? So I was dead tired. I woke up at 3 and I'm like, I sit in this truck with a guy I don't know all day.
You'll be knocked out.
It's going to be, you know, some dead quiet time. So I'm probably going to pass out or sleep. So like some of the stops are abrupt and, you know, you're carrying around these 80-pound kegs to drop them off to these stores. I'm going to need some energy. I'm not going to be like from a cold sleep to like up and ready. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's why I needed so much C4.
It's time to end this. Josh, if you want to give the word.
Thanks, guys. We're gonna get better, I swear.
That's it. That's how we're ending every show from now on. That's it. That's all we can say. Trust us, guys. Just please keep coming back. Trust us. It'll get better. Just give us some time.
We're gonna get better.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But with that, you gotta go home, and you gotta get out of here. You gotta go home, please. Just go home. wander the streets.
Yeah.
Don't
Friday.
go.
It's done.
Don't go to that sneaky leaky's house. Just go home. You know?
We care
Good
so
night.
much about our audience.
Yeah. Hug and kiss your wife. Look at,
Yeah.
tuck in your children.
You gotta be inclusive, dude. What if they don't have a wife?
Then
You're
just go home.
You know what,
loved
dude? You would
ones.
never make it in the corporate America with talk like that. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting. You're not inclusive.
I hear the sirens blaring. Let's go.